Live from the Maverick Center in West Valley City, it's Utah Grizzlies hockey. As this afternoon's the rubber match of a three-game series as the Grizzlies take on the Bloomington Bison. Hi, everybody. I'm Tyson Whiting. Welcome to Utah Grizzlies hockey. It's a game that was originally scheduled to be played at 3 o'clock, and instead we're going to start at 4:10. Overnight, there was a power outage here at Maverick Center, and it must have lasted all night as the food in the fridge had gotten warm, and unfortunately, as a result, the ice wasn't in tip-top condition earlier today, and they pushed the game back an hour, and it looks like the ice is in pretty good condition. Both clubs are just out for warm-ups, and it looks like we're ready to go for some hockey, albeit an hour later here on President's Day. It's one of 3 games in the league. Well, as I mentioned, it's a rubber match of a 3-game set. Grizzlies got goals from 5 different skaters on Friday night, including 1 goal and 1 assist from Reed Webster. And Utah came away with a 5-3 victory as the Grizzlies really have been pretty strong offensively here in the month of February. On Saturday night, Bloomington got a 3-1 victory, but it was really 2-1 with an empty netter at the end. Luke Manning got Utah on the board, 4:38 into the first period with Aiden Hansen-Bukata and Colby Enns getting the assist. For Manning, he has a goal in 3 straight games in this homestand, and he also has a goal in 4 straight home games. Hansen-Bukata picked up his 28th assist of the year, and Colby Enns got his 5th helper. That was 4:38 into the first period. Utah led 1-0 after 1 frame. Bloomington scored 2 second-period goals. Lou Felix Denis tied it up 3:24 in. It was sent off, and Ferguson getting the assist. Colin Ferguson, not to be confused with Callan Ferguson, but Colin Ferguson has 3 assists in 2 games in this series. Game-winning goal was scored by Brad Morrison, 15:48 into the second period. It was kind of an odd play. Chris Ortiz was at his side of center ice, threw the puck in, and immediately looked up to the heavens and then wanted to break his stick as he thought that he'd thrown the puck in for an icing. Mikhail Robidoux got behind the Grizzlies defense. No icing. Robidoux got the puck, fired it off of Bassey's right pad, and then Morrison was over in the left circle, got the rebound, and fired it past Utah's goal line. That turned out to be the game winner as Morrison now has 6 goals on the season. Bloomington scored an empty netter with Sullivan Mack, 19:47 into the third period. A big factor in that game came late in the second period and early in the third, where Robidoux picked up a charging major and a game misconduct. Robidoux is currently out serving the first of a league suspension. There's going to be a league hearing to figure out just how many games he's going to be out, but the Grizzlies went scoreless in that 5-minute power play stretch late in the second period and early in the third. They had 5 shots in the 5-minute major, and really a big key to the game on Saturday was the fact the Grizzlies went 0 for 3 on the power play, and Bloomington was 0 for 4. So the Grizzlies' penalty kill was certainly strong, but considering how dominant the Grizzlies' power play has been, as they have 14 power play goals in their last 12 games, the fact they were 0 for 4 on Saturday made a big difference in the game. Goaltending matchup this afternoon, it's going to be Callum Tung getting the start for the Bloomington Bison. He is in the first of a 3-year NHL contract with the New York Rangers. And getting the start for the Grizzlies is going to be Jacob Musatelli, who's making his Grizzlies debut. Musatelli played in 2 games earlier this season with the Tahoe Night Monsters. So obviously we're starting an hour late as there was a power outage overnight here at Maverick Center. Ice at certain points of the day wasn't in tip-top condition, but it looks like it's good enough to have hockey here this afternoon. Grizzlies are looking for the series victory. They're currently 3-2-1 through 6 games in the month of February. They're facing a Bloomington club that's been just as good on the road as they have at home this season. Grizzlies come in with a record of 18-25-5, and Bloomington is 24-18-2-2. And really, if you're thinking about styles of play, Bloomington does play a ton of close games. They do play a lot of lower scoring, more controlled type of games, more defense controlled type of games. That's kind of their brand of hockey. Felt like Friday night's game, the Grizzlies were able to utilize their speed and kind of play more their style, whereas Saturday it seemed like Bloomington dictated the pace of the game. So a big factor here this afternoon is who's going to play their style of hockey. Can the Grizzlies find a way to utilize their speed, get out in open space, and utilize their good passing skills with guys like Danny Genev and Riley Connors and company, or is it going to be more towards the style of what Bloomington likes to play? That may be a big factor here this afternoon. Well, if you're in the West Vi area, come on out and join us. We're going to have a ton of fun here this afternoon going into the early evening hours. If not, obviously, we got the game with YouTube with the audio coverage, and the video stream is on Flow Sports. We'll come back and talk about some of the Grizzlies who are among league leaders. We'll also go over the lineups for both teams. We're in business on a Monday afternoon, and you're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Maverick Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
Welcome back to Maverick Center. I'm Tyson Whiting. Face-offs in about 14 minutes from now as the Grizzlies take on the Bloomington Bison in the rubber match of a 3-game series. Well, the Grizzlies have gotten things rolling on the offensive side of things. They've scored 31 goals through 6 games in the month of February. The Grizzlies only scored 1 goal on Saturday in the 3-1 loss, but Utah has been a pretty strong third-period club here in the month of February. They have 13 goals on 54 shots in 6 games in the third periods. In February. So the Grizzlies really have gotten the job done in February in terms of scoring. Dominic Bassey is not getting the start in net. It's going to be Jacob Musatelli, but Bassey's done a good job keeping the Grizzlies in games in the month of February. In fact, he has earned a standing point for Utah in 6 of his last 10 starts. Grizzlies are rolling with Jacob Musatelli in net. He is the 7th different goaltender to appear in a game for the Grizzlies this season. He played in 2 games for Tahoe against the Grizzlies earlier this season. Among league leaders, you got to think about Reed Lebster. He's currently 2nd in the league with 28 goals this season. Lebster is also 3rd in the league with 160 shots on goal. Who leads the league in shots? Well, of course, it's Danny Genev, who has 200 shots on goal on the season. Genev's done just about everything for the Grizzlies. He is 2nd among league rookies with 42 points. He has 14 goals and 28 assists. He leads Utah with 12 multiple-point games this season. Today, Genev's going to be on a forward line with Riley Connors and Stepan Timofeyev. You also got to watch out for Aiden Hansen-Bukati. He's certainly racked up a ton of assists, and that's certainly not a surprise because at the college level, AHB had quite a few great statistical seasons, especially in picking up assists. He's gotten assists, I believe, in 5 straight games and a point in 6 straight. He has 3 goals and 28 assists in 44 games. And we're here at Maverick Center, which means Luke Manning's going to play a factor. He's got a goal in all 3 games in this homestand. He also has a goal in 4 straight home games. So watch out for Luke Manning, and also watch out for Evan Friesen, who has a goal in 5 of his last 6 games. And Tyler Bratton, the Grizzlies captain, has a point in 7 of his last 8 games and 10 of his last 12. So despite the fact that Dryden McKay got some revenge against his former team, he was the Bloomington goaltender on Saturday. Grizzlies have had a lot of key performers on the offensive side of things. One other note, forward Yaroslav Yevdokimov is going to make his home debut. He appeared in 3 games for the Grizzlies over in the Tahoe series, and Yaroslav Yevdokimov is going to be in the Grizzlies lineup. This will be his 5th appearance this season. He's got a record of he's got 1 goal and 1 assist and a +1 rating. He's got a point in all 3 games he's appeared in Utah this season. He did appear in 1 game with a different team in this league earlier this year, and that's the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. So he's playing his 5th game overall in this league and 4th as a Grizzly. When we come back, we'll go over the lineups for both teams. We're in business on a Monday afternoon, and you're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Grisby commutes to work by
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to americafirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Welcome to Utah Grizzlies Hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Monday afternoon. Let's get to the lineups for both teams. First for the visiting Bloomington Bison, who have a record of 24-18-2-2. They are 13-9-1-1 on the road. It's their 25th road game of the season. Getting the start in net is Callum Tongue. This will be his 14th appearance this year. He's got a record of 6-5-0-2 with 1 shutout. He has a 2.92 goals against average and .909 save percentage. Tongue signed a 3-year NHL entry-level deal with the New York Rangers on April 1st, 2025. And that was definitely no April Fool's joke for Callum Tongue, who was outstanding last season at the University of Connecticut. In fact, Tongue at UConn last season had a 10-4-1 record with a 2.01 goals against average and .933 save percentage. The backup goaltender this afternoon is former Grizzly Dryden McKay, who was the number 2 star on Saturday as he saved 25 of 26 to earn his 15th victory of the year. The starting defensive pairing for the Bloomington Bison includes Brendan Dadema, who used to play with the Atlanta Gladiators. Dadema is a +13 this year and has 2 goals and 8 assists in 40 games. He'll be paired up with Nikita Sedov, who's wearing number 55. He's played a ton of minutes for the Bison this season. He has 8 goals and 30 assists in 46 games. So Dadema and Sedov are the starting defensive pairing for the Bloomington Bison. We also see Chris Ortiz paired up with Sung Jae Lee, who's making his first appearance in this series, and Colin Ferguson, who has 3 assists in his last 2 games. He'll be paired up with Riku Ishida. So that's the 6 defensemen for Bloomington. The starting forwards for the Bison include Sullivan Mack, who scored an empty netter on Saturday. He's a +15 to lead all active Bloomington skaters. Kyle Jackson has 12 goals and 20 assists in 28 games. And also in there is... Actually, it looks like they've got 3 defensemen listed as starters. They had Ferguson listed as a starter. I believe it's actually going to be Aiden McDonald that's going to be a starter. He's got 7 goals and 5 assists in 30 games. You also got to watch out for Eddie Matsushima. He's done some damage against the Grizzlies in years past. He's a former Tulsa Oiler. He played in 3 years with Tulsa and was productive in all 3 seasons. He has 15 goals and 16 assists in 37 games. So that's part of the lineup of the Bloomington Bison, who are led by second-year head coach Philip Barsky, who's done an outstanding job. The assistant coach is Jesse Messier. The Bison are currently in 3rd place in the Central Division with 52 points. They're 1 point ahead of Indy for 3rd place. Bison come in with a .565 point percentage on the year, and they are 6-4 in their last 10 games. And now for the homestanding Utah Grizzlies, who are led by first-year head coach John Mechanic. Assistant coach is Ryan Anderson, and assistant coach and director of skill development is Jack Skilly. It's game 49 of 72 for the Grizzlies in their final hunt. It's just their 21st home game of the year. Grizzlies come in with a record of 18-25-5. They have 41 standings points, which is currently 7th best in the Mountain Division. Utah in their last 10 games is 3-5-2. Getting the start in net's going to be Jacob Musatelli. It'll be his Grizzlies debut. And Musatelli spent some time in the SPHL earlier this season with the Birmingham Bulls, where he appeared in 14 games and had a 7-5-2 record. He played with 3 different colleges: Clarkson, the University of Maine, and Aurora University. So Jacob Musatelli will be in there for the 3rd time in this league, and he's making his Grizzlies debut. The backup goaltender this afternoon is Dominic Bassi. The starting defensive pairing for the Grizzlies, who are rolling with 13 forwards, 5 defensemen. John Gillette may end up taking some shifts as a D-man. Starting defensive pairing is going to be Colby Enns, who has 4 goals and 5 assists in 39 games. He had 1 assist on Saturday night. He has an even plus-minus rating in the season. Aiden Hansen-Bukata in 44 games has 3 goals and 28 assists. AHB is 6'1" and 195 pounds. He played at RIT and Ohio State University, or as they like to say, the Ohio State. The other defensive pairing is going to be Luke Salem and Noah Gansky, and I imagine Mathieu Boislar is going to be roaming around. He might have a different defensive pairing every time he's on the ice, a different defensive partner. Boislar got in a fight with Mikael Robidoux in the first period on Saturday night, and he's about as strong as any Grizzly at 6'2" and 225 pounds. So that's the 5 defensemen: Enns, Hansen-Bukata, Salem, Gansky, and Mathieu Boislar. Starting forwards for the Grizzlies include Luke Manning, who's got 5 goals and 12 assists in 29 games. He's averaging more than a point per game in his last 8 contests. Maros Jedlichka has 1 assist in 2 games. He was just recently sent to the Grizzlies from the AHL's Colorado Eagles. And Maxim Barbashev, the second-year pro, the former Bloomington Bison skater, is going to be in there. Barbashev is a former New York Rangers draft pick, and he's wearing number 92. He's a pretty strong performer. His brother Ivan Barbashev is currently with the Vegas Golden Knights. Tyler Gratton's going to be lined up with Evan Friesen and Reed Lepster. That's been a highly productive forward line. We also see Danny Genev lined up with Riley Connors and Stepan Timofeyev. And Mike Gillette's going to be lined up with Yaroslav Yevdokimov and Mikey Koella. A couple roster moves earlier today. The Grizzlies released forwards Henri Schreifels and Sean Kennedy yesterday. Let's get the Grizzlies starting lineup from public address announcer Mark Larson.
Starting on defense wearing number 6, Luke Salem. On defense wearing number 21, Noah Gansky. At forward wearing number 11, Evan Friesen. At forward wearing number 23, Reed Lepster. At forward wearing number 59, the captain, Tyler Gratton. And protecting our goal tonight wearing number 32, Jacob Musatelli.
It appears I was given the wrong starting lineup. It looks like it's Salem and Gansky with the forward line of Gratton, Friesen, and Reed Lepster. Musatelli is the starting goaltender.
The Maverick Center and Utah Grizzlies remember Xavier Salcido, a young man who worked for our operations crew. Xavier tragically lost his life in a car accident this past week. Xavier was the most genuine, kind-hearted young man we have had the pleasure of knowing and working with. He always smiled, said hi, and had an amazing work ethic. He had a passion for cars, especially his BMW. Xavier was taken from our hearts way too soon. His love, lessons, and his light will live on in each of us. Xavier, you will always be remembered and loved. Now, please rise and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem performed tonight by Woods Cross High School, Cantabella.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the as we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It's a great day for hockey as two big standings points are on the line as the Utah Grizzlies are set to take on the Bloomington Bison in the rubber match of a 3-game series. Should be a ton of fun. Two referees tonight, Jordan Watt and Tatu Kunto. The linesmen are Colin Kleinendorf and Andrew Collins. Jacob Musatelli makes his Grizzlies debut. It's his 3rd game overall in this league. He played in 2 games with Tahoe earlier this season. Starting defensive pairing is going to be Luke Salem and Noah Gansky. Gansky's a big 6'7" D-man who's got an A on his black sweater with white numbers and professional green trim. Grizzlies have a forward line of Tyler Granton, Evan Friesen, and Reed Webster, and that forward line has been absolutely outstanding for the Grizzlies here in the month of February. Getting the start for Bloomington is going to be Callum Tung. This will be his 14th appearance this season. Tung got the loss on Friday as he saved 23 of 28. Friesen will take the draw against Lou Felix Denis, and he's out there with Kyle Jackson and Ada McDonald. As the Bison win the draw, they skate from left to right as we see it from high top section 114. Bison get it in. Musatelli rolls it along the far wing boards. Reed Webster races across center ice, and he'll chip it in. Gratton chases after along with McDonald as Tung will brush it towards the left corner. Friesen gets to Webster, bounced off of his stick and goes towards Lou Felix Denis, who's wearing number 5. He scored a goal on Saturday night in the second of the 3-game set. Musatelli plays behind his net as the Bison make their first line change of the game 30 seconds in. Grizzlies will switch up skaters as Aiden Hansen-Bucata replaces Noah Gansky, and the Grizzlies get a forward line of Danny Genev, Riley Connors, and Maxime Barbashev on the ice. Salem drifts the puck along the near wing boards with a ton of velocity. Genev gets at the Bloomington line, skates towards a corner, and he loses control of the puck. Chris Ortiz chips it towards the near wing boards. Chasing after it is Mark Kaliankovics, but it goes all the way down for a Bloomington icing. As the Bison are called for icing, and we got our first whistle 56 seconds into the game. Neither team's taking an official shot. Who's your pick to click? Who's going to be the player of the game for the Grizzlies? I know Melissa's going to go with Luke Manning. As for me, I'm going to go with Yaroslav Yevdokimov, who's making his Maverick Center debut. He appeared in 3 games for the Grizzlies in the Tahoe Road Series, and he had a point in all 3 games. Connors will take the draw. Genev gets it down the middle of the ice. Lefty shot. Glove saved by Tung. And he will hold on, as that's the first shot of the game, and that's Danny Genev, and that's certainly fitting considering he leads the league, as he now has 201 shots. He came into play with 200. In fact, he's got 26 more shots than the next highest performer in the league. Reed Webster, interestingly enough, is 3rd in the league with 160 shots on goal. Grizzlies get it taken away as Hansen-Bucata tried to play the puck off the draw on the right point. Grizzlies fire it back in as Colby Enns wearing number 5. As Callum Tung will roll it to the near side. Bison banking off the boards. Puck goes out to center ice. As Bloomington skates towards the right wing in a white jersey, red numbers. Righty shot saved by Musatelli. And he will hold on. That shot was taken by Sung Jae Lee, making his first appearance in this series. He's from South Korea, 6'1", 176 pounds. He has 1 goal and 5 assists in 28 games. So we're getting rolling. Both teams have 1 shot. It's just the start of things. So grab some chips and dip and a beverage your choice and enjoy part of Monday with us. Get started a little bit later. There was a power outage in the building overnight, and the ice during the morning hours was not in great shape. Off the draw, Manning gets towards Musatelli, but he rolls it to Gansky to keep the play alive. But luckily, the ice surface certainly looks good enough for action here this evening. Barbashev dumps it in. He's out there with Luke Manning and Maros Yadlichka as Gansky delivers some lumber to the back of a Bison skater. As Gansky will maneuver his way towards the right corner. Manning towards Gansky, who gets his stick lifted. He couldn't play the puck. As it rolls towards the near wing, Bloomington will plop it out to center ice. Matu Boilar will fire it off the shin of Zachary Karpa, the son of Dave Karpa, the former 10-year NHL veteran who played mostly in the 1990s. Ed to Barbashev off his stick. He sweeps it into the Bison zone. Grizzlies make a full line change as we play 2 minutes. Still no score. Bison have outshot the Grizzlies 2-1. Lee gets it out ahead to center ice off the stick of Mikhail Abramov, who has 4 goals and 5 assists in 19 games. He's wearing number 16. You have Dokimov ahead to John Gillette off his stick. Bloomington's Lee fires it back in as Musatelli plays behind his net and drops it for Colbiens. Now Luke Salem rolls them on the boards. Grizzlies are mostly going to work with 5 defensemen, so the defensive pairing is going to be mixed and matched quite a bit tonight. Ends, left wing feed out to Colella off his stick, and it flies out of play off the protective netting as Colella accepted the puck at center ice, and it just ricocheted off his stick, and it flew out of play. So the draw's going to be at center ice. 17:22 is left in the first. Still no score. Grizzlies have scored the first goal in each of the 2 games in this series. Utah got a 5-3 win on Friday as they got goals from 5 different forwards. Bloomington won 3-1, but it was mostly 2-1 with an empty netter towards the end. Second shift of the game for the forward line of Tyler Gratton, Evan Friesen, and Reed Webster. For Tyler Gratton, he's got a point in 7 of his last 8 games and 10 of his last 12. Friesen has 10 points. 5 goals and 5 assists in 6 games in February. Bison win the draw as they throw it back into their own zone. Brendan Datema, the former Atlanta Gladiator, out towards center ice. He's a big guy at 6'5", 220 pounds. Bison get it in from the right wing. Kyle Jackson in particular. As Gansky over towards Reed Webster in the right wing. Across to Hanson Mukano, who gets out to neutralize. AHB across the center red line. Negotiates his way around 2 Bison skaters. As Webster rolls along the wall towards Gratton, who feeds it to Friesen. Lefty shot saved by Callum Tongue. Boy, great stop by Tongue. What a quick release by Evan Friesen. Now left wing, Gansky with a righty shot that goes wide and goes high around Callum Tongue. Gansky's got 3 goals this season. 2 of them have come in the first period of games. Bloomington skies it from center ice. Datema in particular. It's gloved and dropped by Musatelli. Musatelli stopped each of the first 3 shots he has seen as a Grizzly. Gratton ricochets off the boards, trying to chase after it, but it's poked away by Shane Ott, number 21. Towards right wing, Lee looked to center. It bounced off of Hanson Mukada's skates. Lee gets up top. Bradley shot goes just wide. That was taken by Kallian Kovacs, who's got 8 goals in 38 games this season. Bison at center ice. Grizzlies will switch up forwards, and Gansky will exit as he's replaced by Boilar. Left wing, Bloomington enters. They'll try to move it across. It flies off a stick. Kallian Kovacs rolls it around Utah's boards. Now behind the Grizzlies' net, it's thrown. It looked like it was lifted towards the front of the crease, and Bloomington bats it behind Musatelli, who looks over his left shoulder. As we play just over 4 minutes, a Bison skater loses his stick, and Shane Ott will skate towards the bench without a stick. Genev towards the left wing, gets around Lee, fires it to the right side. And Connor just kind of fanned on a one-timer in the slot. And so we're still scoreless. Bloomington's outshot Utah 3-2. Good effort by the Grizzlies, and that's certainly a fast forward line of Genev, Connors, and Timofeyev. They'll certainly make things happen. Out to center ice, McDonald in the right wing, drops for Karpa, back to McDonald. He'll throw it in, but the Bison are offside, and the whistle blows with 15-17 left in the first. So dominating weapon so far has been the whistle, as both teams know the importance of the first goal. We had mentioned the referees tonight, Jordan Watt and Tatu Kunto. The linesmen are Colin Kleinendorf and Andrew Collins. Luke Manning will take the draw against Zachary Karpa. Manning came back from a lower body injury on Tuesday against Idaho 6 days ago and scored a first period goal, and he has a goal in all 3 games in this homestand. Manning wins the draw as Enns will race back deep in his own zone to get it as he couldn't reach it off the Manning draw. As Jedlichka will dump it in, Jedlicha. He comes over for CKA. I can't even spell it when it's right in front of me. He comes over from the AHL's Colorado Eagles. Good thing it's not a spelling bee or I'd be out. as Bloomington centers it, and Manning will clear it all the way out as it goes past a Bloomington defenseman and all the way down for a Utah icing. As there's 14:47 left in the first. We'll try it again. Jedlicka, former 7th-round pick of the Colorado Avalanche back in 2023. Fans are having a good time here on a Monday afternoon. It's the Olympic break of the National Hockey League, so if you want to watch live hockey, Maverick Center is the place to be. Grizzlies will be on the road for 2 games later on this week as they'll take on the Allen Americans on Friday and Saturday night at 6 o'clock. Don't forget the Grizzlies' next homestand will begin on Wednesday, February 25th, as they entertain Jackson Hibbert and the Tahoe Night Monsters for a 3-game set, February 25th, 27th, and 28th. Bloomington wins the draw, and obviously Jackson Hibbert, the head equipment manager of the Tahoe Night Monsters. He was with the Grizzlies for many years, last 2 years, as head equipment manager. As along the near wing boards, Salem ahead as Grizzlies skate from right to left as we see it from section 114. Yedlicka off his stick as it goes towards the Bloomington line. Yoshida will move it across. He is paired up this afternoon with Colin Ferguson, who has 3 assists in this series. Bloomington fires it in. Salem gets there about the same time as the Bison skater. Kallian Kovacs rolls it along the boards. Matsushima cuts it off in the left point. We've been skating 5-on-5 this entire time. We played about 6 minutes. Still no score. Bison down the middle of the ice. Kallian Kovacs fires a righty shot that goes high. That one landed in that would have landed in Provo had there not been glass to ricochet the puck. That one didn't. That one missed by a mile, or maybe in the case of Provo, about 44 miles. Yedlicka wearing number 44, left wing, lefty shot, saved by Tongue. Bison come back the other way. Bloomington crossing center ice. Matsushima from center ice will fire it in as the Bison make a line change, and the Grizzlies will do so as well. Hansi Bukata gets out to center ice, and he'll fire it over the head of Chris Ortiz. Ortiz has been strong in this series, wearing number 25 for Bloomington. Ortiz strides along the near wing wall and gets it ahead. Bison towards the right side. Centering pass is misconnected as they're trying to find a cutter, and that's Brandon Yeamans out in front of the net. Yeamans has pretty good speed. He used to play with Allen. Yeamans gets it off the boards, right wing, and he'll backhand it towards Musatelli, who gets on one hop of the ice and drops to keep the play alive. So he played about 7 minutes. Both teams have 3 shots. Colby N standing behind his net as he's got Boilar sporting a beard. Boilar takes the puck from Enns. Now Enns skates to the near side. Boilar with a strong outlet pass, angle left towards Lepster. As Lepster dumps it in, Friesen chasing after it. Karpa around the boards. Lepster off his stick towards the middle of the ice, and it's taken back by the Bison. As Denis enters from the left wing, he fires a righty shot that goes wide. As Bison tried to play it, Kyle Jackson had chip off his stick. Now up top towards Damas. As Datama trying to skate towards the corner. Now Sullivan Matt gets hit by Gansky. Puck towards the far corner. It's taken by Noah Gansky, who gets double teamed. Now the Bison get it back. Denis trying to find the puck over in the left circle. He spins himself around 2 times. Lepster gets the puck, and he'll skate towards the near wing boards. Now he'll curl and get the puck towards Gansky. Noah Gansky solicits a blue line to blue line feed out to Friesen. Evan Friesen skates towards the corner, now stops, gets to Lepster in the left point. Reed Lepster to the left circle, centers to Friesen. Friesen drops it for Enns. Right wing, righty shot goes wide. As Salem plays the puck towards the left point, he'll fire a lefty chip, and it ricochets off of Shane Ott's stick, and it goes out of play as there's an even 12 minutes left in the first period. Still no score. Both teams have 3 shots. Thanks for joining us here this afternoon. You're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Maverick Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
And even 12 minutes are left in the first period. No score between the Grizzlies and the Bison. Both teams were off yesterday, so both were able to give a pretty strong effort here this afternoon. Riley Connors will take the drives out there with Stepan Timofeyev and Danny Genev, and up top is Luke Salem and Colby Enns. As Connors takes the draw, gets towards Timofeyev. He tried to move it to the middle of the ice for Genev, but it's picked off by the Bison. Up ahead, Bloomington's got a breakaway. Kalinkovic fires a variety shot, saved by Musatelli. He tried to go stick side on Musatelli, but it was stopped by Kalinkovic. Now a Bison skater gets dragged around, and Genev ends up getting hit as the Bison player just spun himself, and it's going to be a penalty on Luke Salem as he goes to the box for 2 minutes. And it looks like holding is going to be the call. And so Bloomington goes on the power play for the first time tonight. Bison power play was 0 for 4 on Saturday. And the Grizzlies have been outstanding on the penalty kill so far in this series. Salem just kind of dragged down Shane Ott, and Genev ended up taking a spill as a result. Bloomington's power play this season is 18.1%. Grizzlies penalty kill is 77.1%. But as we mentioned, they were strong on Saturday night. They were 4 for 4. They had a perfect night on Friday as well. Lou Felix Denny will take the draw against Evan Friesen. Draw won by Utah's Noah Gansky. Whips it around the boards. Bloomington plays soccer to keep it in. The puck will hip it out back to Gansky, who will clear it all the way out. Callum Tung, who's the first of a 3-year NHL entry-level deal, will drop the puck as crossing neutral ice as Chase Ortiz will drop it as Kyle Jackson gets around Colby Enns. Jackson, 12 goals this season, spins the puck along the boards. Running after it is John Gillette. Gillette gets blasted by Felix Denis, but the puck skies towards the Bloomington line. Good job by Gillette on the penalty kill as he comes off. Jackson skates around the center ice logo. He'll move it to his right for Ishida over the offensive blue. Around the boards, Lebster in the corner as 2 Bison players converge on him. Now a third as Felix Denis and Lebster battle for the puck. Gansky gives some lumber to Felix Denis. And now Gansky, oh no. Noah Gansky can't believe it. Felix Denis tried to skate along the boards behind Musatelli's net. And Gansky can't believe it. He's going to get a cross check. And so that will give Bloomington a 5-on-3 power play for 1 minute and 9 seconds. So 2 Grizzly defensemen are in the box. And so that means they'll just have 3 by trade for the next minute and 9 seconds. As Felix Denis tried to break free of Gansky, and Gansky delivered a strong cross check. And if you're a neutral observer, you'd probably say that was a good call. As 9:04 into the first period. And interestingly enough, Bloomington's called their timeout. Timeout Bloomington with 9:04 left in the, actually 9:04 into the game. So Bloomington used their time. Right now they see a critical sequence in this game. Scoreless, 1 minute 9 seconds left on a 5-on-3. And Bloomington's used their timeout. So interesting use of the timeout by Philip Barsky as he wants to get his crew organized. He sees the importance of this 5-on-3, and it's not necessarily the 2 minutes worth of either a 5-on-3 or a 5-on-4. It's 1 minute 9. So critical sequence early in the game. You know it because the Bloomington coach pretty much acknowledged that this is the biggest 2 minutes of the game right now because of the timeout he used. Grizzlies win the draw, but it doesn't go out as puck goes up top. Now back towards Sedov, wearing number 55. He gets to the high slot. Now Sedov back just outside the right circle. Kyle Jackson will switch places with Sedov. Jackson is now in the high slot, gets it towards Sedov, right wing. Sedov dangling back and forth, chips it across. One-timer and a score. Bloomington takes a 1-0 lead as they scored on the 5-on-3. And the goal, I believe, was scored by Ishida. It is Riku Ishida getting his 7th of the year as he fired a one-timer past Musatelli. There's 47 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Bloomington stays on a power play, 5-on-4 for the next minute and 38 seconds. As Jackson and Sedov are going to get the assists. As Sedov is just dangling back and forth, waiting for a passing angle for Ishida. And Sedov very patient with the puck. He gets the main assist. He now has 10 assists on the year. The other assist is going to go to Kyle Jackson. He now has 21 helpers on the year. Time of goal, 9:26 in. So 5-on-4 power play. Good use of the timeout by Philip Barsky. And it was interesting, for Bloomington, they play a lot of lower scoring games, and so goals can be at a premium. So when you get a 5-on-3 power play for over a minute like they had, you look at that as being a critical sequence to score. Maybe not once. Bloomington's hoping to score twice. They're still on the power play for minute 13. They're in the offensive zone left wing. Now they get towards right side. Lefty shot and hits the far post. As I believe that was Sullivan Mack that fired it off the post stick side past Musatelli. And now Evan Friesen will float it forward deep into the Bison zone. Grizzlies will get 4 fresh tires on their penalty kill. 55 seconds left in Bloomington's power play. As Kalyankovics gets it towards Sedov off the stick, he'll race after a loose puck and one-handed across. Bloomington gets it across, but it goes out to center ice. Bloomington has to reset. Both teams came in with 6 goals on the other in the series. Now it's 7-6 Bloomington. As getting the puck is Riley Connors. He'll clear it back towards the Bloomington blue line. 27 seconds left in the Bloomington power play as Genev tried to take it away, but instead crashed himself off the boards. Puck goes out to center ice. Kyle Jackson, who picked up his 21st assist of the year about a minute ago, he'll fire it in. Salem chasing after it. A Bison skater gets there first. As Ortiz gets taken away by Danny Genev, the first-year pro out of Penn State. He'll ricochet off of Ortiz. 5 seconds left in the power play. As Ortiz over in the right corner gets up top. As Gansky comes out of the box right now. 1 power play goal for Bloomington. Left wing, Bison walk in. Denis fans on a righty shot now. Left wing, righty shot hits the side of the net. As Boilar missed a check on Bloomington, who sidestepped him. Shane Ott trying to move one out in front. It's picked off by Salem at the near goal line. Salem off the stick. As Gansky gets pinned to the boards. Lou Felix Denis pushed by Riley Connors. 8.5 minutes left in the first period. It's 1-0 Bison. Bloomington's outshot Utah 5-3. Tatum, a high slot, righty shot. Gets ricocheted, and it goes towards the end boards. There's a Bison skater in front of Musatelli. As Connors will chip it towards Gansky. Gansky backhands it ahead off the near wing wall. Loose puck is taken by Karpa. Or make that the set of Bloomington. He's got an A on his white sweater with a little bit of light blue towards the middle portion of the sweater and red numbers, black lettering in the back of the jersey. Datema on the right side gets it towards Karpa. Zachary Karpa loses control of the puck. He's a former New York Rangers draft pick back in 2023, end of the 6th round. As the Bison will backhand it in. Karpa towards the right corner, backhands it out in front. It goes wide as puck is shipped out towards center ice. Datema fires it back in at the end of a shift. He's taking the puck's Aiden Hansen-Bucati. Left wings it out towards Jedlichka. Jedlichka out to center ice. He'll dump it in. He gets around to Shida. Jedlichka trying to overpower his way around a Bison skater. Ferguson will drift it towards the near wing. Salem with the puck. He'll fire a lefty shot, and it bounced off the skate of a Grizzly, and that was Mikey Colella. Jedlichka high slot. His lefty shot is blocked. He kind of fired a change up towards the net. Didn't get a ton of velocity. As Shane Ott will feed it back to the near corner for Ashita, the goal scorer for Bloomington. Across ice pass. Now to Gamons at center ice. Gamons dropped his gloves against Riley Connors. Now 2-on-1. Bison tried to center. Great poke check by Luke Salem. As he deflected the centering pass that was intended for Matsushima. Salem will come off the ice, and he'll get a pat on the back from Ryan Anderson, the Grizzlies' assistant coach. As Matsushima gets it towards the right side for Ott. Ott gets it up top. Righty shot. Glove saved by Musatelli. That shot was taken by Sung Jae Lee, who has 1 goal in 28 games this season. So faceoff's going to be in the Grizzlies zone. Bloomington had 1 roster move today as defenseman Parker Gavlis has left the team. He apparently is headed for a club in Europe. There, if you're watching on Flow Sports, was a great poke check by Salem. If that pass gets through, Matsushima's got a grade A chance and then some against Jacob Musatelli. So Luke Salem, that's not going to show up in the box score, but that was an outstanding play. You got to put a star next to that one with about 7 minutes left in the first period. The great poke check by Luke Salem. Matsushima will take the draw for Bloomington against Riley Connors. Matsushima's been in this league for quite a while. He's also got some games with a couple different AHL teams. Grizzlies win the faceoff. Hansen Buchanan to Genev, who backhands it off the glass near the Grizzlies bench. Puck is fired off of Hansen Buchanan, who gets to Genev at center ice. Kalyankovics knocks it away as Matsushima tried to one-hand it ahead to Ott. It glanced off a Grizzlies skate. Matsushima to the right side. He'll skate towards the point. Now he moves it across. Left wing, lefty shot. And that one sticked away by Hanson Mukata, and it flies out of play as a Bison skater, and that was Chris Ortiz. He was a little bit disappointed that he couldn't get the shot through the stick of Hanson Mukata. It was interesting to see Ortiz's reaction late in the second period on Saturday, and what turned out to be the game winner for Bloomington, and it was kind of hilarious as he threw the puck in. He was in Bloomington territory, dumped the puck in, and he immediately thought that icing was going to be called. So he looked up to the heavens in disgust. He wanted to break his stick, and then Bloomington went down, fired it off of Bassi, and getting the rebound was Brad Morrison for what turned out to be the game winner. So faceoff's going to be over in the left circle, which is the far side. Bloomington skating from left to right. The Grizz from right to left. Off the draw, lefty shots blocked as Boilar took the time and space away from a Bison skater. Now left wing, lefty shot goes wide. I think it was taken by Kyle Jackson. Numbers aren't easy to spot on these particular jerseys that Bloomington's wearing today. Jackson towards the high slot, skates towards his left. He's now on the left point, stops, reverses the puck around the boards. Chasing after the loose puck is a Bison skater, and I think that's Sullivan Mack up top to Datema. Right point will fire, righty shot. Glove saved by Musatelli. There's a backhand snag with 5:54 left in the first. Draws game in the Grizzly zone on the other side. Bloomington scored a 5-on-3 power play goal by Riku Ishida. It was a one-timer from the left circle, 9:26 in. You're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
5 minutes and 54 seconds are left in the first period. Bloomington leads 1-0. It's the first time in this series they have scored the first goal. Rubber match of a 3-game series. Grizzlies got a 5-3 win on Friday, February 13th, as they got goals from 5 different forwards. Bloomington responded with a 3-1 win on Saturday, February 14th on Valentine's Day, as the Bison were showing no love to the Grizz. These teams will meet in Bloomington for one game on Friday, March 6th. That's going to be a 6 o'clock start over in Bloomington. Then after that, the Grizzlies will be in Cincinnati for 2 games on March 7th and 8th. Draw's going to be over the right circle of the Grizzly zone. Evan Friesen will take the draw for Utah. The first-year pro out of the Wenatchee Wild. He played with the Grizzlies a little bit at the end of last season. Salem fires it off the glass, and it goes out of play into the visiting penalty box, where Santa Claus will pick it up. Sends a ricochet off the glass. No delay of game for the Grizzlies, as Santa Claus will deliver the frozen vulcanized rubber disc where he tried to, and the puck hit the top of the glass and stayed in the box. Now, second chance. Nope, couldn't get over there. Third chance, baby. Third time's a charm, as a youngster is going to get the frozen puck from Santa Claus. Great to have the big guy here. February, I mean, obviously his big day is not for another, 10 months. Faceoff's going to be in the right circle of the Grizzly zone. Riley Connors will take the draw against Lou Felix Denis. Denis got 9 goals and 9 assists in 44 games this season. Bison win the draw. Bloomington doesn't take a ton of shots. They're towards the bottom of the league, taking 27.8 shots per game. Sullivan Mack shields a Grizzly player from the puck. Shot saved by Musatelli. Now Felix Denis, right side. He fires a righty shot into traffic. Saved by Musatelli. Puck still alive, and Musatelli's covered it up. Jacob Musatelli signed with the Grizzlies last week, about 4 or 5 days ago. He's wearing number 32. He comes over. He was released by Tahoe last week, and the Grizzlies picked him up. And the Grizzlies, unfortunately, have gone through a few goaltenders this season, somewhat due to injuries and a few other circumstances. Unfortunately, Anson Thornton suffered an injury a couple weeks ago when he was playing against Tahoe. Musatelli, I believe, is the 7th goaltender to appear in a game for the Grizzlies this season. Dylan Wells, Dominic Bassi, Kyle Kaiser, Casimir Kaskasuo, Anson Thornton, Dryden McKay, and Jacob Musatelli. Grizzlies down the middle of the ice. Friesen lefty shot. Blocker saved by Tongue. Tongue is laying in his net, sitting upright. Now he gets back to his feet. Bison over the offensive blue centers to Kalin Kovacs. He'll take a righty shot. Saved by Musatelli. Puck still alive in front of the crease. Now it's taken by Bloomington. Gets to the left circle. They try to center. It's picked off by Lebster. Lebster off the stick towards the left point. Reed Lebster backhands it ahead. Friesen and Gratton chasing after it. Gratton's got the puck, skates towards the right circle. Dangling back. Four centers to Friesen. Lefty shot goes just wide. As Friesen didn't have a great shooting angle as he had the defenseman Sung Jae Lee next to him. Boileau left point, lefty shot blocker saved by Tongue. Tongue's in the first of a 3-year NHL deal with the New York Rangers. Friesen will sky it towards Tongue, who lets it go to the right corner. 4.5 minutes left in the first period. It's 1-0 Bloomington. As the Bison in the white jerseys, a little bit of light blue and red mixed in, kind of the colors of the old Houston Oilers NFL club. Kalin Kovacs will skate off the ice. Grizzlies will fire it back into the far corner, deep in the Bison zone, as Grizzlies in the black jerseys, white numbers, and professional green trim. Out to center ice, Boilard tried to shovel it ahead. Morrison took it away and gets it ahead to McDonald. Aiden McDonald gets double team. We get a whistle, though. What penalty is going to be called? Hooking's going to be the call, and who's it going to be on? Well, the Grizzlies had two players surrounding Aiden McDonald. And so Hooking's going to be the call. The door to the Grizzlies penalty box is opened. And it looks like linesman Andrew Collins is telling Mikey Colella, you picked up a penalty. And Colella looks like he's pretty surprised. Colella's like, really? Me? Colella can't believe it, but he gets 2 minutes for Hooking. 15:55 into the first. As Mikey Colella gets his second minor penalty of the year. Boy, the referee was behind Utah's net and spotted it. I think he was just going after a loose puck. That's kind of a tough one if you're a Grizzlies fan. So it's going to be a power play for Bloomington. Remember, they had a 5-on-3 power play that they scored on. 9:26 in. That's the difference in the game. The goal that was scored by Riku Ishida on a one-timer. As off the draw, stick goes breaking, and that's a Bloomington stick as Ortiz couldn't keep it in the near point. Callum Tongue races to the near corner to cut it off, and he'll drop it for Chris Ortiz, who's been one of Bloomington's best defensemen this series. He's played well. Ishida crosses center ice, and he'll dump it into the left corner as he gets hit by Gansky. Salem chasing after it, and the puck will slide back towards Utah. As Gansky races across center ice 3-on-2. Gansky will plop it in, and he'll come off the ice as Bloomington did a good jump. Well, let's see. Barbashev knocks down a Bison skater, and now it looked like a Bison skater put a pretty good cross check to the side of Barbashev. All right, for the second time here in the first period, Bloomington's going to get a 5-on-3 power play. Barbashev can't believe it, and I'm not entirely sure I can either. Well, a Bison skater was just cutting across the far corner. He got knocked down by Barbashev. And so Denis played the puck. And Barbashev gave him a little bit of a push from behind. It wasn't a vicious check, but it was enough. The referee was right there. That might have been what made the call, is the fact the referee was really just standing near the corner. So when Denis fell down, the referee made the call. Tyler Gratton can't believe it. He's talking with referee Tatu Kunto, because that's the second 5-on-3 power play for Bloomington here in the first period. And this time it's going to be 1 minute, 24 seconds worth of a 5-on-3. There's 3 minutes and 29 seconds left in the first period. Bloomington leads 1-0 as Tatu Kunto is hearing it from the Grizzlies bench. As draw one by Utah. Noah Gansky will tattoo the puck off the near wing boards and goes all the way towards Callum Tongue, who plays it about 3 feet in front of the crease. 1-0 Bloomington. They're on another extended 5-on-3 power play. As the Bison out towards center ice, as Jackson walks around, centering packs the left side. Shot! Glove save by Musatelli. Well, a good stop by the Grizzlies goaltender, as Jackson had the puck, just kind of curled it behind him towards the left circle. And it was a pretty nice pass by Jackson. And Bloomington had a pretty good look. It was Ishida that took the shot. And Musatelli makes a key save to keep it a 1-0 game. Boy, Jacob Musatelli's actually looked pretty strong for the Grizzlies here. He has stopped 9 of 10. 5-on-3 power play for the next minute and 5 seconds. Bloomington wins the draw. Remember, Bloomington's already used their one timeout. They used it on the previous 5-on-3 power play. As taking the puck is Kyle Jackson. He's in the high slot. Bloomington won the draw. They'll get it towards Sedov. He's in the right circle, dancing back and forth. He's now in the high slot. Gets the sheet on the left wing back to Sedov. We'll get it towards Ortiz. Ortiz in the high slot. Slides it towards Jackson, the right wing. Jackson will switch places with Ortiz. Jackson down the middle of the ice. Lefty shot. Saved by Musatelli. And, well, interference is going to be the call. Who's it going to be on? A player lost his stick. That's going to be a Bloomington penalty. As Chris Ortiz is going to the box. 2 minutes and 39 seconds left in the first period. He gets an interference minor. As Ortiz was just skating, and he chopped the stick from Noah Gansky. So good call by the referee. The interference minor 17-21 in. So Bloomington is on a 4-on-3 power play for the next 34 seconds. And then after that, Colella is going to come out of the box. We'll skate 4-on-4 for a bit of a time. And then Barbashev will come out of the box, and the Grizzlies will have a power play. So face-offs over in the right circle of the Bison zone. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Make sure to follow the Grizzlies on all the social media channels. Off the draw, Colby ends with a righty shot. That's sticked away. So it's a 4-on-3 power play for the next 27 seconds. Bloomington leads 1-0 as there's 2.5 minutes left in the first period. Bison cut across center ice. Jackson will feed it his right from McDonald over the offensive blue. Now down the middle of the ice. They drop it, tee it up to the left side. Righty shot goes wide. As taking the one-timer was Mark Kaliankovics. As Grizzlies take it, Reed Lebster towards the right wing. As he dances back and forth, it's taken back by Bloomington. So Colella is going to come out of the box, and we're going to skate 4-on-4 for the next 32 seconds. As Bloomington will fire it towards McDonald, who takes a spill. Puck goes towards neutral ice. Sedov backhands it in. Teams have got to be assertive with their skating, as the ice may be a little bit softer here this afternoon. Timofeyev strides along the left wing, steps over the offensive line, skates towards the left corner. As Lee cuts in front of Timofeyev to take control of the puck. Wait, Bloomington's got a pretty strong defensive unit, and that's a big part as to why they're in third place in the Central Division and why they are occupying a current playoff spot. They're currently third in the Central Division. Barbashev is out of the penalty box. The Grizzlies are on the power play for the next 43 seconds. Utah gets up top towards Gansky. Gansky over to the right side as Luke Manning back up top to Gansky, who's now in the high slot. He directs it back to Manning, right circle. Now across off of Bloomington stick to Gansky. To Timofeyev, back to Gansky in the left point. Across off the wall to Manning. He's got a goal in 3 straight games and a goal in 4 straight at home. Salem, right wing, lefty shot is blocked as there's 1 minute left in the first period. Bloomington will fire it off the Salem stick. Puck hitting opposite center ice and slides towards the Utah line near side. Gansky battles with Matsushima, and the puck will go towards Luke Salem, who's played a great first period. Salem behind Musatelli's net. Musatelli has saved 10 of 11 so far in his Grizzlies debut. And now Bloomington returns to full strength as Ortiz comes out of the box. 32 seconds left in the first period. Bison lead 1-0 on a 5-on-3 power play goal scored by Riku Ashida 9.5 minutes in. Behind Musatelli's net, bit of a scrum as Denis off his stick. Puck slides to the right corner. Connors gets it, and he gets belted by Denis, but Connors keeps his feet. Yadlichka trying to get around a Bison skater down the middle of the ice, skating towards Tung. Now Yadlichka behind the net. Does the Michigan, and it's blocked by Tung. Well, Yadlichka tried the Michigan on Tung. Now Yadlichka, left wing, his shot's blocked. Hans Buchanan, the buzzer fires towards the net, but fanned on it, and that will do it for 20 minutes here at Maverick Center. Boy, Maros Yadlichka was behind Bloomington's net, and he tried to lift the puck and do the Michigan lacrosse-style goal, and it looked like he was denied by Callum Tung. As there's Yadlichka. He's behind the net if you're watching on Flow Sports. Thought about it, got the puck off his stick, but just couldn't quite curl the puck around and get it over Callum Tung. It looked like Tung was anticipating it, and he was up a little bit. So that does it for 20 minutes. Bloomington leads 1-0, and the difference in the game is that 5-on-3 power play goal that was scored 9:26 in. Scored by Riku Ashida. with the assists going to Nikita Sedov and Kyle Jackson. When we come back, we'll recap what's happened here in the first period and also go over some other scores from around the league, as this is one of 3 games in the league this afternoon. And we'll also talk some hockey on the other side as well. It's Bloomington 1, Utah nothing here after 1 period. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 38th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to thank everyone in attendance for your support of ECHL hockey. The ECHL would also like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, exclusive signage provider; Athletic Knit, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2026 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Dash, official mobile auction platform; The Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Flow Sports, exclusive streaming provider; Hotel Planner, official hotel reservations partner; Howie's Hockey Tape, exclusive hockey tape and lace provider; In Glasgow, exclusive puck provider; Prolific One, exclusive secondary ticketing partner; and Warrior, exclusive on-ice equipment provider and title sponsor of the 2026 ECHL All-Star Classic. Catch all of the ECHL action live in high definition by logging on to flowhockey.tv.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear. We made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down. We go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, and partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. We're through 1 period. We got some dancing going on here during the first intermission. Everybody's having a good time. Bloomington leads 1-0 as they scored a 5-on-3 power play goal. And oddly enough, the Bison had 2 different instances with an extended 5-on-3 power play. That certainly got the bench and the Grizzlies coaches a little bit irritated. 1 of 3 games across the league. We'll go through those other 2 scores, but the Grizzlies came into play. It's a rubber match of a 3-game set. Utah won 5-3 on Friday. Bloomington got a 3-1 win on Saturday. Jacob Musatelli's making his Grizzlies debut. He just came over, signed as a free agent. He had spent 2 games with the Tahoe Night Monsters this year. Musatelli played pretty strong. He saved 10 of 11 in the first period. I mentioned kind of the difference in the game really was the 2 5-on-3 power plays that Bloomington had, in particular the first 5-on-3. Luke Salem picked up a holding minor for Utah, 8:13 in, and then 9:04 in. Gansky got a cross-checking penalty. And so Salem and Gansky, they have been paired up for the first period and paired up for the last few games. And with that, 9:04 in, Bloomington called their 1 timeout as they sensed the importance of scoring on that power play, whether it was 5-on-3 or 5-on-4. And during the 5-on-3 portion of the power play, Bison had the puck in the right wing, got it across towards Ishida. And really who made the play was Nikita Sedov, who was very patient with the puck. It almost looked like he was waiting for the perfect angle to throw the pass to Ishida, as Grizzlies obviously trying to clog up the middle there on the 5-on-3 penalty, 3-on-5 penalty kill. But Bloomington was able to get the pass across to Ishida, who fired a 1-timer for the power play goal. It was 5-on-3. That was the power play goal, 9:26 in. And then later on in the first period, Bloomington got another 5-on-3 power play. Mikey Kalala picked up a hooking minor, 15:55 in. And then 36 seconds later, Maxime Barbashev got a cross-checking minor, and that was deep in the Bloomington zone. So once again, an extended 5-on-3 power play for Bloomington. But it didn't last all that long, as 50 seconds into the 5-on-3, Chris Ortiz picked up an interference minor, and so it turned in, so obviously we're playing with a few different scenarios late in the first period, a few different situations, 4-on-3 and then 4-on-4, and then the Grizzlies had a power play for a short time, but nobody found the back of the net in the second half of the first period. Bloomington outshot Utah 11-6 in the first period. Of the 6 shots Utah had in the first, Evan Friesen and Maros Jedlička each had 2. It looked like towards the end of the first period, Jedlička was looking for the Michigan lacrosse-style goal, but it looked like puck just kind of fumbled off his stick as he was trying to curl it towards the front of the net. Danny Genev and Mathieu Boilar each had 1 shot in the first period. As for Bloomington in their 11 shots, Brendan Dadema had 2 shots, the former Atlanta Gladiator. Sung Jae Lee had 2 shots, as well as Mark Kaliankovas. And Riku Ishida also had 2 shots, and Ishida had one of his 2 shots find the back of the net. 1 shot each for Lou Felix Denis, Kyle Jackson, and Zachary Karpa. Callum Tung, the Bloomington goaltender, saved each of the 6 shots he has seen so far. And Jacob Musatelli, one of the big stories coming in, the former Tahoe Night Monster, played with the SBHL's Birmingham Bulls earlier this season. He has saved 10 of 11. Interestingly enough, I think one of the other goaltenders on Bloomington in the Birmingham in the SBHL is Hayden Stewart. Hayden Stewart, I believe, is a former Grizzly, and it's kind of interesting as he was supposed to be a goaltender in late December, right after Christmas of 2021. As the Grizzlies had lost goaltenders Trent Miner, Peyton Jones, and Garrett Metcalf, all the call-ups. Well, Hayden Stewart was unable to play, and so that's what turned into the Brady DeVries emergency goaltender game. It's interesting to see Hayden Stewart on that Birmingham roster as he is still playing in the SBHL. There's 2 other games across the league, and when we come back to the intermission report, we'll go over those games. As Kansas City took on Orlando, and Adirondack faced Guy Carenza and Jared Youngman's Atlanta Gladiators. After 1 period here at Maverick Center, Bloomington gets a 5-on-3 power play goal and a 1-timer for Riku Ishida. He now has 7 goals on the season. Sedov and Jackson with the assist. But before we go to break, let's go over the first period stats. Grizzlies had 4 scoring chances among their 6 shots. So they didn't get a high quantity in the first period, but they certainly got a good quality. Birmingham had 5 scoring chances on their 11 shots. Grizzlies won the faceoff battle 13-6 in the first period. Bloomington had 3 power play shots. Grizzlies didn't have any. Neither team had a shorthanded shot. Obviously, a lot of that power play time for Bloomington was a 5-on-3 power play. Bloomington with 6 hits to the Grizzlies' 5. Not many giveaways in the first period. Bloomington had 3 and Utah had 2. So that's the first period stats. Grizzlies did dominate the face-off battle, but Bloomington had an 11-6 edge in the shot count. We'll come back and go over some other league scores. After 1 period, it's Bloomington 1, Utah nothing here in the rubber match. Bloomington has outscored Utah 7-6 so far in this 3-game series. You're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
Back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting. It's been an interesting journey for the Grizzlies goaltending situation this season as the Grizzlies have gone through quite a few goaltenders. They started out the year with the combination of Dryden McKay and Dylan Wells. McKay's got 3 shutouts with Bloomington this season. Dylan Wells, remember, had a 46-save shutout on October 24th at Idaho, and that was a 5-0 victory for the Grizzlies. Well, Dylan Wells is now with the Kansas City Mavericks as he has an AHL contract with the Tucson Roadrunners. Tucson pulled him from Utah, sent him to Kansas City, and guess what? Dylan Wells now picks up his second shutout with Kansas City. Remember, he had a shutout for Kansas City, I believe, in his Mavericks debut a week and a half ago. Today, against Orlando, Dylan Wells stopped all 23 shots as Kansas City got goals from Luke Lohheit, Justin Janicki, Bobby Carpenter, and Casey Carew. And Dylan Wells with a 23-save shutout. Kansas City was 0 for 4 on the power play. Orlando was 0 for 5. And Wells now has 3 shutouts overall in this league, 2 with Kansas City. In the final at Kia Center, Kansas City 4, Orlando nothing. One other game across the league, and that is played at Gas South Arena in Duluth, Georgia. Adirondack gets a 4-3 shootout victory over the Atlanta Gladiators. As that game went to the 4th round of the shootout before Patrick Grasso scored the game winner. Pretty interesting goaltending matchup. Adirondack goalie Jeremy Brodeur, the son of Martin Brodeur, stopped 39 of 42, and he was 3 for 4 in the shootout. TJ Semptenfelter for Atlanta has saved 27 of 30, and he was 2 for 4 in the shootout. Atlanta outshot Adirondack 42-31, but it was the Thunder, the Eastern Conference's version of the Thunder. They get a 4-3 win over Guy Krenz and Jared Youngman's Atlanta Gladiators. Here at Maverick Center, Bloomington leads 1-0 as Riku Ishida scored 9:26 into the first period. It was a 5-on-3 power play goal, and it really was kind of the interesting part of that first period as we saw 2 5-on-3 power plays for Bloomington in the first period. We started an hour late here at Maverick Center, partly due to the fact that there was a power outage here at Maverick Center overnight, and they need a little bit extra time to get the ice ready for this afternoon's game. Ice was a little bit shaky and a little bit shady towards the start of the day, and you got to tip your cap to the workers here at Maverick Center for making sure that the ice got to be in tip-top shape for this afternoon's game. There's a lot of people there on the ice crew and the guys that drive the Zambonis and work on the ice continuously here at Maverick Center. They did an outstanding job making sure the ice was playable for this afternoon's game. You're talking about the goaltending situation of the Grizzlies. It's certainly crazy to see McKay have the success he had at Bloomington. I think we knew what kind of a goaltender Dryden McKay was. After all, he is one of the, probably not one of, he is the most accomplished college hockey goaltenders we've ever seen. Statistically, won a Hobie Baker Award, and he's got the all-time record in shutouts and wins, and you name it, he did it in his college days. Dylan Wells, I think we knew, was set for a strong second half of the season. I had mentioned it a few weeks ago at the end of the first half. I probably mentioned it in mid-January that Dylan Wells was set to have a pretty strong second half of the season. Just one of those things, unfortunately, was pulled from the Grizzlies and ends up in a different uniform, and you put him in a great situation in Kansas City, and we see exactly what Dylan Wells is made of. Kyle Kaiser's been unbelievable, not only with the Grizzlies, but with the AHL's Colorado Eagles. He's been so good with Colorado. Even though the Eagles are carrying 3 goalies right now, none of those 3, whether it's Trent Miner or Kyle Kaiser or Posh, none of them, deserve to be, none of them deserve to be, sent down to the Grizzlies. So it's just, just one of those where Colorado's got 3 goalies right now. They haven't sent the Grizzlies anyone. You're talking about a situation where the Grizzlies picked up Kasimir Kaskasuo in mid-December. He plays in one game, gets a shutout on Teddy Bear Toss night, and then the next week he's gone to a club in Finland. Dominic Bassey has really done a good job kind of holding down the fort for the Grizzlies, as Bassey has picked up, he's picked up standings points in 6 of his last 10 starts. So he's really done a good job. He's the backup goaltender this afternoon. Grizzlies picked up Anson Thornton essentially to replace Dylan Wells. Thornton was coming off an injury where he missed 10.5 months, and Thornton picked up another injury in his Grizzlies debut, and that was in Tulsa, or that was in Tahoe a couple weeks ago, and he's going to be out a month. He's going to be out a little while. Not sure how long he's going to be out, whether he can return this season or not. But now the Grizzlies are in the situation that they've been, where they got Bassey and they have Jacob Musatelli. And I got to say, Musatelli did look pretty strong for the Grizzlies in the first period, stopping 10 of 11. He made a couple of great ace saves as Bloomington had 5 scoring chances in the first period, and all of them were legitimately good scoring chances. Musatelli had to make 2 or 3 really good saves in the first frame. We'll come back and have second period action on the other side. Grizzlies did win the faceoff battle 13-6, and that can end up jump-starting some scoring chances. And we'll see about that forward line of Tyler Gratton, Evan Friesen, and Reed Webster. Got a feeling they may generate something here in the second period. When we come back, we'll have second period action as Bloomington leads Utah 1-0. You've been tuned in to the Intermission Report on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to AmericaFirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe that you should get more from less. Like exclusive tires we design ourselves means more tires made for the roads that you drive, less compromise. And we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. It's more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. And our 60-day satisfaction guarantee means you'll be way more satisfied and way less stressed. For all this and more, you get more from less.
Are about set for second period action as Bloomington leads 1-0. We'll skate 5-on-5 to start the second period. Don't forget, later on this week, the Grizzlies will be on the road for 2 straight games against the Allen Americans. That's going to be February 20th and 21st. And then the Grizzlies return home for a 3-game set against the Tahoe Night Monsters on February 25th, 27th, and 28th. And don't forget that February 27th and 28th, that's going to be Grizz Fight Cancer Weekend. Utah does have one more meeting against Bloomington this year, and that's going to be at Bloomington on Friday, March 6th. So then after that, the Grizzlies will take on the Cincinnati Cyclones on March 7th and 8th. Grizzlies will start the second period with a forward line. Well, let's see. Salem and Gansky are the starting defensive pairing. And they're going to start out with the forwards of Luke Manning, Maros Jedlichka, and Maxim Barbashev. Fans having a good time here this evening. Bloomington's going to start out with a forward line of Sullivan Mack, Lou Felix Denis, and I believe Ada McDonald. Actually, looks like it's Kallian Kovacs. No, I was wrong. It's Kyle Jackson. The numbers are actually, it's a nice-looking Bloomington jersey, but the numbers certainly don't pop off all that well. As puck goes back to center ice, Grizzlies skate from left to right as we see it from high top section 114. Around the board, Sedov gets, he's got 1 assist. He'll sky it over Gansky. Sullivan Mack collects it, but the Bison are offside. Philip Barsky, the head coach, disagreed, but the draw's going to be back at neutral ice after we get our first whistle. 21 seconds into the second period. Actually, the draw is going to come all the way back towards Bloomington ice. It's going to be an offensive zone draw for Utah. Luke Manning talking things over. He wants the face-off over in the left circle. But it looked like it was towards the near side where Mack had caught the puck. So Manning's talking things over with Noah Gansky as well as Maros Jedlichka. Grizzlies did win the face-off battle 13-6 in the first period. Fans coming back from the concession stands as Jedlichka gets it towards Gansky after Manning won the draw. Puck behind Bloomington's net as Barbashev takes a spill on the fresh sheet of ice. Barbashev trying to get it towards Yedlich, gets knifed away by Datema, as now taking the puck is Yedlich got his stick. He dances around in the far corner as he gets pinned by Datema, as Manning behind the net gets knifed away. Puck towards the right corner. Salem battles with Ferguson as Manning skates in. Shot saved by Tongue as Yedlich fires it off the near wing boards, trying to get up top to Salem. It's taken away by Karpa. Karpa had 2 goals on Friday night in the Grizzlies' 5-3 victory over Bloomington, but Karpa was the third star of the game. Gansky strides along the right wing, crosses center ice. He'll chip it in and chase after it as the Grizzlies will switch up forwards, as Utah does have 5D and 13 forwards this evening, as Grizzlies only have 5 healthy defensemen. It's possible at some point here the Grizzlies will pick up a 6th defenseman. Utah backhands it deep into their own zone as Bloomington back towards Matsushima off the boards. He gets double teamed. Puck goes to the corner as Bloomington lose control of it. Danny Genev, 1 shot so far tonight and 201 on the season, as Genev gets taken off the puck by Sung Jae Lee out of South Korea, making his first appearance in this series. As Lee gets back checked by Genev, as Ortiz will slide it to Matsushima in front of Bloomington's net. As the Bison out towards center ice, on off his stick, Shane's his first name. Matsushima will hustle after a loose puck over in the left corner, which is the near side for Bloomington. Up top, as Sedov rolls it back towards Matsushima, who plays behind Utah's net, trying to find somebody out in front, but there was nobody there on the Bloomington side. As Colby ends ahead towards Timofeyev, who slides to the middle of the ice for Genev. Genev, right wing, toe drag, lefty shot, and it's sticked away, and it goes out of play. It was sticked away by Kyle Jackson, the talented forward, wearing number 27 for Bloomington. So 17:50s left in the second period. Thanks for joining us here this evening. Make sure to follow the Grizzlies on all the social media channels, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the Grizzlies are superstars on TikTok. Priest will take the drives out there with Webster and Gratton. Prieston's father was in attendance for Friday's game. I'm not sure I've seen him here this afternoon. Prieston, a native of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Sedov will flip it in. Musatelli raises his left arm, and the linesmen raise their right arm. Strong start for Jacob Musatelli. Played in 2 games for Tahoe. Both of them happen to be against the Grizzlies. He played in the first 10 minutes of the January 11th game as a member of the Tahoe Night Monsters. Stopped, I think, 9 of 10, and then had to leave the game after Gansky scored due to an injury. Not sure much about the injury, but he got hurt on January 11th and was replaced by Jordan Paperny. And then he played against the Grizzlies on February 7th. Grizzlies did get the better of him in the first period as they scored 3 goals on 4 shots, and then Musatelli was pulled by Paperny, and Grizzlies picked him up. As long-range feed, it goes past Lou Felix Denis, and it goes down for a Bloomington icing. Tries to come back towards Callum Tongue. He's got an NHL contract with the New York Rangers. Musatelli has held strong here for the Grizzlies this afternoon. Mikey Colella is going to take the drives out there with Yaroslav Yevdokimov and John Gillette. Yevdokimov, certainly a good story. He was a strong performer for the Tulsa Oilers back in the 23-24 season 2 years ago. And as a shot saved by Tongue, shot was taken from the left wing. Sullivan Mack gets hit by Salem. Salem is in his second full season as a pro. John Gillette centers it. Bloomington skies it. It somehow misses the video board. Waller ahead to Yevdokimov, who dumps it in. Yaroslav Yevdokimov, pretty good size. He's listed at 6'1", 190. Looks a little bit bigger than that. Hanson Buchanan left wing. His shot sticked away by a Bison skater. John Gillette behind the net. The first-year pro at a holy cross. Yevdokimov skates towards the corner where he gets hit by Denis. As Yevdokimov hits Denis in the side, John Gillette comes out with the puck wearing number 24. He'll plop it for Hanson Buchanan. Left wing, his shot is blocked. As Yevdokimov gets stripped up, Grizzlies wanted a penalty, none to be had. John Buchanan looks incredulous. He can't believe a penalty wasn't called there. As out to center ice, Yevdokimov tried to play it, but it squirts towards a Bloomington skater. Kyle Jackson at center ice, backhands it ahead. Bloomington enters from the right wing as they skate towards the right corner. Hanson Buchanan and Webster join a play. Now Yeaman's trying to yank the puck free. Webster pushes Yeamans as both teams trying to jostle for the puck. Grizzlies come out with it. Webster stops. He'll drop it for Gansky behind Musatelli's net. Grizzlies rink-wide feed off the boards. Goes behind Friesen. And Bloomington will bounce one back in. Gansky to the left corner. It's taken back by Bloomington. As taking the puck is Abramov. He'll throw it up top. Ortiz gets it back in deep. Bloomington behind their net. Yeamans, he tries to do the Michigan and lost control of the puck. He saw Yadlichka try that in the first period. Thought he'd give it a try. Right wing righty shot saved by Musatelli. Puck goes towards the right wing. Abramov drops to the corner. As Hanson Bukata holds on to a Bloomington skater. Grattan gives some lumber towards Abramov. He's wearing number 16, native of Russia. 4 goals and 5 assists this season. Up top to Chris Ortiz. He fires the lefty low liner. Stick saved by Musatelli. And it flies off the Grizzlies goaltender stick and out of play. As there's 15:25 or so left in the second period. After the whistle, the clock ran about 4 or 5 seconds. Rubber match of a 3-game set. Both teams playing a little bit more of a controlled style today. Grizzlies want to get back to that defensive identity. They've been a strong offensive club here so far in the month of February. Bloomington's one of those teams that can kind of lull you to sleep a little bit playing their style. Not necessarily a fast-paced game, but Bloomington does like to control the pace like they did on Saturday. Grizzlies kind of control the pace on Friday. Utah wins a draw. Barbashev on the right wing steps over the offense line, gets it back towards Yadlichka. Bouncing puck. Yadlichka trying to get up top towards Manning, and Manning gets it from Barbashev. As Manning fired towards the net, redirected by Barbashev, stick and it goes wide. Yadlichka collides with Ferguson, make that McDonald. Now Barbashev down the middle, take a lefty shot, and hits the far post. The Irons unkind of Bloomington will ice it. Musatelli raises his left arm, and the linesmen enthusiastically raise their right arm. As we played exactly 5 minutes of the second period, and Bloomington still leads 1-0. Boy, Barbashev missed a goal by inches. As Maxwell Smart would say, missed it by that much. As Barbashev was looking for his 4th goal of the year. And he went stick side, didn't miss it by much as he ricocheted the puck off the post. Face off won by Utah as Gillette gets it towards Manning. He fires towards the net and it's blocked. And sliding towards the right wing is Ferguson. He'll throw it up and not out. As big time collision going down to Salem as Karpa knocked him down. Arm is raised by the referee. There's going to be a penalty as somebody went sprawling around. Cross-checking is going to be the call, and I think it's going to be a Utah power play. As Zachary Karpa is going to go to the box. Yes, he's going to get 2 minutes for cross-checking. As signaled by Tatu Kunto. As I think it's right here on the Salem hit in the right point. As Salem, boy, kind of awkwardly head first ended up along the boards. And that's what the penalty's for. It's a cross-check 5:16 into the second period. So it's Utah's second power play of the afternoon. They're 0 for 1 in the power play tonight. They've got 14 power play goals in their last 11 games. Fans take up a Let's Go Grizzlies chant as Evan Friesen will take the drives out there with Webster, Grattan, Hanson Bukata, and Danny Genev. Watch out for Grattan. He leads Utah with 8 power play goals. Hanson Bukata and Genev lead the club as they have 14 power play assists each. Reed Webster, 6 power play goals, 6 power play assists. Evan Friesen, 3 power play goals, 4 power play assists. Bloomington wins the draw. They slide it up and not out. Hanson Bukata to Webster, dangles in the left point. Trying to get back to Hanson Bukata. Bounced off a Bloomington stick back to Webster. To HB back to Webster as they play catch. Webster, rink wide feed towards Genev on the right point. Genev skates towards the right corner. Tosses it back up top to Webster. Reed Webster fires a righty shot that goes off a stick and it flies out of play. Grattan was net front with his back towards Webster and facing Callum Tongue. Friesen was out in front in the slot. I believe it ricocheted off Friesen's stick and it went out of play with 14:21 left in the second. So it's going to be an offensive zone draw. Bloomington switches up skaters. Grizzlies keep the same 5-man unit on the ice. Utah's looking for their first goal of the game as Bloomington leads 1-0 on a 5-on-3 power play goal that was scored by Riku Ashita 9:26 in. Sadov and Kyle Jackson picked up the assists. All 5 guys are power play threats for the Grizzlies on the ice. Utah wins. Hanson Bukata over Webster. One-timer and it's blocked. It's blocked by Datema. As Bloomington backhands it off the glass. Hanson Bukata chasing after it. As AHB gets the puck as fans in section 113 serenade Zachary Karpa in the penalty box. Hanson Bukata, horizontal pass to Gratton, who gets it back to Genev off his stick at center ice. Genev one-hands it ahead. Getting after the loose puck is Luke Felix Denis. It will slide it out to center ice. Bloomington will throw it in particular Abramov out of Russia, as he'll skate off the ice. Bloomington for about half a second might have been caught for too many, but referees weren't spotting it. The Grizzlies had control of the puck at that time. Amid's ahead. Matsushima gets it right wing, but he's offside. As Matsushima can't believe it. Puck ricocheted off the stick. Matsushima hustled after the puck near the Utah blue line, but offside is called. As there's 13:38 left in the second period. Bloomington still leads 1-0. Remember to join us for the Grizzlies' next homestand. It's going to be late February 25th, 27th, and 28th. The Grizzlies take on the Tahoe Night Monsters. Your tickets, UtahGrizzlies.com. Remember, February 27th and 28th is Grizzlies Fight Cancer Weekend. Face off near the Grizzlies bench, far dot, as Connors will take it. Barbashev as well, 54 seconds left in the power play. Salem is out there with Timofeyev and Luke Manning. So it's Manning, Connors, Barbashev, Timofeyev, and Salem. That's a party of 5 for Utah. Timofeyev gets the puck. He'll wrap it around the boards. Manning hustling after it. He climbs with a Bloomington skater, but keeps control of the puck. Skates around Bloomington's net, gets up top to Connors. Connors back to Manning, who gets to the center of the ice for Timofeyev, who couldn't get a shot off as Bloomington took his time and space away. Manning trying to get up top to Salem. He gets challenged by Yeamans. Manning keeps the puck and he'll backhand it towards the right goal line for Connors. Connors and Manning switch places. As Salem over to the right wing, gets across to Timofeyev, who faked a one-timer. Timofeyev dancing back and forth. Now he fakes it to Salem. Timofeyev down the middle of the ice. He skates towards the right wing, takes a righty shot that goes wide. Salem in the left point gets it. 12 seconds left in the power play up top to Connors. He'll get it to the middle of the ice, but it goes past Salem off the wall. Barbashev gets spun around. 5 seconds left in the Utah power play. Musatelli thinking about slamming a stick on the ice. Out of the box is Karpa. And the Bison are back to full strength. Utah is now 0 for 2 on the power play. Arm is raised by linesman Colin Kleinendorf, as well as linesman Andrew Collins. Icing on Bloomington. So the Grizzlies will get an offensive zone draw as we're skating 5-on-5 with 12:36 left in the second. Wait, for the Bison, really, you kind of think about, if you're playing against the Grizzlies, how do you scout things? And really, I think recently, if you're a team facing the Grizzlies like Bloomington is, you're immediately looking at the Grizzlies' power play. And Bloomington with a lot of focus and discipline on their penalty kill. They have been strong after Friday's game where the Grizzlies went 1 for 3 on the power play. Bloomington was a perfect 4 for 4 on Saturday and 2 for 2 here this evening. And I really like the process the Grizzlies had on the power play. They had plenty of offensive zone time, but just couldn't get one past Callum Tong. Matsushima will fling it off the glass. Puck will trickle around Gansky, who collects it at the Utah blue line. Ahead off a Karpa stick. Walar moves it ahead. It goes past Yevdokimov. And according to the linesman in front of next to the play, Andrew Collins, icing is on Utah. It's interesting seeing linesman Andrew Collins, not to be confused with Anthony Collins, the forward of the Tahoe Night Monsters. The Grizzlies will see for their next home game on February 25th. Certainly looking forward to that. Yevdokimov will take the draw for the Grizzlies. 4th game for the Grizzlies and 5th overall. He played 1 game with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits earlier this season. So draw in the right circles, won by Bloomington. It's a 1-0 Bison lead as Bloomington throws it towards the right side, one-timer, and that one's blocked. Might have gotten blocked by Musatelli. Ashita around the wall, off a Bloomington stick to the right corner, as Boilar and Yadlichka sandwich a Bison skater. Now Felix Denis behind the net gets towards Sullivan Mack looking for a wraparound, but he gets knocked down by Boilar. As towards the right wing, as Yadlichka tried to throw a side check on a Bison skater and Kyle Jackson. Now Yadlichka gets the puck in the right corner. Former 7th-round pick by the Avalanche. He'll stop behind Musatelli's net. Yadlichka gets it knifed away. Boilar will throw it towards the Bison bench, and it hit the op deep in the Bison zone, and icing is on Utah with 11:32 left in the second. So it's not the 3rd game in 3 days, but it kind of in some ways looks like a 3rd game in 3 days, just with the style of play that we have seen here so far. Both teams were off yesterday. You mentioned what's on tap for the Grizzlies, taking on Allen on Friday and Saturday on the road. For the Bloomington Bison, they will be at home for 3 games in 3 days, February 20th, 21st, and 22nd, against the Maine Mariners. Yevdokimov will take the draw against Karpa as Bloomington gets knocked down along the left wing boards, which is the near side. Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the period. Bloomington right point. Righty shot saved by Musatelli as Bloomington back towards the right wing. As taking the puck is Karpi. Fires a shot saved by Musatelli. Left wing shot saved by Musatelli again. And Jacob Musatelli covers up in the crease. Boy, it's been a strong Grizzlies debut so far for Jacob Musatelli. The only goal allowed again that he's allowed was a 5-on-3 power play goal halfway through the first period. 11-12 is left in the second, and Bloomington leads 1-0. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Maverick Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
11 minutes and 12 seconds are left in the second period. Not many shots here so far in the second frame. Bloomington has 4, Utah has 1. Grizzlies with 1 power play in the second period after Karpa got a cross-checking minor 5:16 in. Bloomington's 1 for 4 on the power play. Utah is 0 for 2. The lone goal scored tonight was 9:26 into the first period as Riku Ishida scored a 5-on-3 power play goal. Set off and Kyle Jackson with the assist. Among the Grizzlies, 7 shots so far this afternoon. Evan Friesen and Maros Yadlitski each had 2. Manning, Danny Genev, and Matu Boilar each have 1. Jacob Musatelli's been strong in net in his Grizzlies debut. He has saved 14 of 15. Looking to bring the energy here in the second period. It's a little bit flat here so far. About halfway through the scheduled 60-minute affair. Bloomington right wing centers it and bouncing off a stick. Colby Enns is out there with Hanson Bukata. Webster skates horizontally towards the Bloomington bench near the Utah blue line. Drops for Hanson Bukata, who does a half circle, crosses center ice right wing, steps over the offensive blue, and he fires to the left corner. As Friesen gets it off the wall, trying to center to Grant, and it bounced off a Bloomington stick back to Friesen. Now to Webster left wing, across to Enns. He's on the right side. He fires righty shot. Glove saved by Tongue. And he will hold on in the butterfly position as there's 10:39 left in the second. So that's Colby Enns' first shot of the game and 8th for the Grizzlies this afternoon. As Enns had a pretty good look. Nice cross-eye saucering feed up top. Callum Tongue, one of the things you notice about him quickly, 6'3", 209 pounds. He's a quick goaltender. So he gets down to the butterfly quickly. Displayed a pretty good glove. And I actually thought on Friday, despite the fact the Grizzlies were able to get 5 goals on him, I actually thought Tongue played a pretty good game. As Tongue had 28 saves. He saved 28 of 33 on Friday. Grizzlies really earned the 5 goals. Icing is waved off. Hanson Bukata taps it away from a Bloomington skater as Bison get it up top. As Sedov fires lefty shot and a score. I don't know if it got redirected out in front. Sedov points to Morrison, and after the whistle, a little bit of pushing and shoving in the left corner. But either way, it's 2-0 Bloomington. As Sedov, did he get redirected by Morrison? It's hard to tell. There's actually a Grizzly stick also in the way. Morrison believes he redirected it, which means that would be his goal, and it would be his 7th of the year. Brad Morrison was the number 1 star on Saturday as he scored the game winner late in the second period in Bloomington's 3-1 win. So it's now 2-0 Bloomington. They've scored a goal in each of the 2 periods. And Sedov fired a shot from the left point. And I'm not sure if Morrison got a piece of it or not. You'd have to look at the slow motion replay a couple times. Based on him going to the celebration aisle first, He believes he got a piece of it. That would be his 7th goal of the year. Bloomington has doubled up Utah in the shot count, 16-8. Grizzlies will be looking for a comeback here. As I mentioned, the game started an hour late. Things just seem to be a little bit on the quiet side here at Maverick Center. And Morrison does get credited with the goal according to the off-ice officials. Musatelli plays behind his net. It's tapped away, but saving the day is Luke Salem. He skates towards the left corner. Now Geneva at the middle of the ice will saucer one to center ice. As goes to Timofeyev. He tried to drop it for Gansky, who overskated it. Salem around center ice, gets around one Bison skater. Bloomington enters. Abramov tried to center it, and Gansky collects the puck as it had about, I'd say, half a foot of air under it, and Gansky was able to collect it with ease. As Geneva has the puck left wing, skates towards the circle, drops it, one-timer, saved by Tong. Boy, Geneva did a good job kind of winning a little bit of a 50-50 puck in the left circle. Dropped it for Riley Connors, who's got 6 goals in the month of February. Boy, Connors had a pretty good look, and Callum Tong was able to slide a little bit towards his right and make a key stop. Boy, Connors looked like he had his mouth open after the save. Boy, he felt like he put together a pretty good shot, but Callum Tong, we mentioned the quickness a couple minutes ago, and he put that on display, denying Riley Connors with 9:39 left in the second. So it's 2-0 Bloomington. They've got a goal in each of the 2 periods as they put up a picket fence on the scoring sheet. As Bloomington fires it off the near wing wall, Ballard chasing after along with Sullivan Mack. Ballard gets there first before Mack, but no icing. As over in the left corner, Enns pushes a Bloomington skater. Bison get it up top. Ishida, who scored the first period goal, he fires towards the net, and it is saved by Musatelli. That one just kind of spun in the air about 3 feet off the ground towards Musatelli, who made the stop. Jacob Musatelli is now saved 15 of 17. Pretty good crowd spread around here at Maverick Center. You never know with these Monday games, especially this particular holiday, because there's not exactly everybody that gets this particular day off. Trow's going to be over in the right circle of the Grizzlies zone. Bloomington's up to 17 shots. The Grizzlies have 9. Utah wins the draw. Boilard will fire it off the glass, and it goes out of play. The tipping motions made by the referees. No delay of game. So Trow's going to come back into the Grizzlies zone. Brad Morrison's goal was scored 9:36 in, assisted by Nikita Sedov, who has 2 assists tonight. And Tanner Shackle picks up the other assist. Shackle, it's the first time he's appeared in a game this series. He now has 3 assists on the year, 6'4", 216 pounds. One former Grizzly on the Dryden McKay, obviously, on the Bloomington roster, former Grizzly. The one former Grizzly skater is Max Neal on the current Bloomington roster. He's appeared in 2 games this season with Bloomington. As over towards the left wing, lefty shot, and that hits the side of the net. And stopped by Tongue. As Yatlichka fell down, and Barbashev had a good look from the left wing. As Grizzlies will have an offensive zone as the puck went out of play into row 1. Right behind Bloomington's net. The fan comes away with a frozen puck. So draws going to be in the left circle. Grizzlies up to 10 shots. That's been a pretty strong forward line this week. Genev, Yatlichka, and Maxime Barbashev. Now it's Evan Friesen taking the draw. He's got Lepster to his left and Gratton to his right. As Lepster gets it taken away after Friesen won the draw. Now the puck at center ice. Sullivan Mack battles with Friesen. Mack ahead as Jackson drops it for Denis on the back check. Lepster gets his stick lifted. The puck looked like it went out of the zone, but not according to Colin Kleinendorf. As Jackson pushes Gansky along the glass goes swaying back and forth. Utah with the puck 2-on-2. Lepster towards Gratton. He gets around one Bison skater to the left wing. Try to get it across to Lepster, who had the puck go between his legs. 8:21 on the moving clock. Bloomington leads 2-0. Bison throw it in. Enns will tattoo it off the boards. And Sedov with 2 assists gets it ahead. Mack gets around Enns. Skates towards the left side. Takes lefty shot blocker saved by Musatelli. Mack gets it back. He'll get it towards the left circle. Bounced off a stick. Lepster gets back checked by Morrison. Enns over skates it. Now he gets it back. Enns crosses center ice. And he will plop it in as the puck just kind of bounces on its side. Bloomington will bounce it towards the Grizzlies zone. Salem ahead. Off of Yevdokimov stick to the center ice logo. As taking the puck is Aiden McDonald, the big 6'4" forward he used to play with Allen. McDonald toe drag, left wing. His shot goes over Musatelli as ricochets off the glass. Loose puck deep in the Bloomington zone. Domkamov chases after it. Bloomington gets there about a stride ahead of him. A Bloomington skater falls down. Morrison takes the puck. He'll wobble it towards the left side. A hippity hops over Chris Ortiz's stick. Ortiz tried to throw it in. Collided sticks with Gansky. Now down the middle of the ice. Bloomington's call for offside. As there's 7:22 left in the second. Faceoff's going to be at neutral ice. A lot of hands on sticks. And, he kind of mentioned third game in 4 days, but this kind of has the feel and the tone and atmosphere of the building kind of has one of a 3-3 type of situation. As if the game were played on Sunday afternoon. Grizzlies haven't played on a Monday yet this season. It's the first Monday game for the Grizzlies all year. As Yeamans trying to take the draw against Connors. Linesman Colin Kleinendorf says, my bad, we'll do it over again. Draw won by Utah. Gansky skates back deeper in his own zone. Gets ahead towards Timofeyev off his stick. Connors battles with Yeamans. Remember, Connors and Yeamans gotten a little bit of a confrontation of sorts after a whistle on Saturday. Genev, right wing, his lefty shot's blocked. Yeamans, once he saw that there were the two linesmen stepping between them, decided kind of symbolically to drop his gloves. He actually did drop his gloves. Connors didn't. And there wasn't a penalty call by Yeamans on the play, but it certainly made for fun, unintentional comedy. Unless it was intentional comedy by Yeamans. We'd have to ask him after the game. As Grizzlies will slice one towards Connors. Near wing boards off his stick. He chases after it. Connors has outstanding speed. He's in his first full season as a pro. He's got an AHL contract with Colorado. As Bloomington tries to get around Colby Enzu, cuts off the pursuit of a Bison skater. Hands to Bukata from one corner to the other to Genev, who danced around. Shane Ott will hold up Genev. As Hanson Bukata gets after it with a Bison skater. Colby Enz trying to jab at the puck, as is Timofeyev. And the puck goes from one corner to the other as Ortiz gets there before Connors. Connors crashed himself along the boards. Ortiz backhand shot, and he scores. And Chris Ortiz, he's had an outstanding series. He now has a goal in 2 of his 3 games in this series. He fired a backhand shot, glove side pass Musatelli. And with 6:10 left in the second, it's the Bison 3 and the Grizzlies nothing. Boy, Ortiz, Connors has extended his stick, but Ortiz just skated towards the middle of the ice, towards his right. But the backhand shot just kind of had eyes a little bit. Musatelli saw it all the way, and he slammed his stick on the ice after he figured out the puck was past him. And Maverick Center is about as quiet as I've seen it. In fact, it's quieter now than it was at 10 a.m. when the lights came back on here at Maverick Center for the first time in about 12 hours. Grizzlies with the puck as skating in. Manning in front of the crease, shot, and he's denied by Tongue. As Yelichka found a wide open Manning in front of the net. As the puck hits a stanchion, Tongue will come back towards his net. Manning gets up top. Salem left point, dancing back and forth, fires lefty shot off of Morrison's skate. As Ferguson loses control. Yelichka behind his net, gets up top to Salem, right wing. Across to Manning off his stick. Manning regathers it in the left corner. He backhands it up top to Enz, across to Salem. One-timer, kick save off the left angle of Tongue. As the puck goes towards the right corner. Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the period. 5:20 on a moving clock. Second period, Bloomington leads 3-0. Enz fires towards the net, stick save by Tongue. Now Salem skates in towards his right, collides with 2 Bison skaters. Barbashev shovels towards Tongue, and the Bloomington goaltender makes the stop. Chris Ortiz scored unassisted 13:50 into the second period to make it a 3-0 game. Grizzlies will have an offensive zone draw on the other side. 5:10 left in the second period. Bloomington leads Utah 3-0. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear. We made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down. We go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe that you should get more from less. Like exclusive tires we design ourselves means more tires made for the roads that you drive, less compromise. And we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. It's more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. And our 60-day satisfaction guarantee means you'll be way more satisfied and way less stressed. For all this and more, you get more from less.
I'll see if the Grizzlies can get things rolling here late in the second period as Bloomington leads 3-0. Bison got a first period goal from Riku Ishida and second period goals from Brad Morrison and Chris Ortiz. Bloomington's one of those clubs. It'll be interesting to see how things fare out in the Central Division. They've got a strong defensive unit. They've got two really good goaltenders. They picked up the former NHLer Garrett Sparks in net. Bloomington looks like they're going to be a pretty tough team to beat as they seem to be well coached with Philip Barsky. It'll be fun over the next couple months to follow their progress. They will have one more game against the Grizzlies, and they'll be in Bloomington on March 6th. Bison will backhand it off the glass. Hippity opposite the Boiler at the Utah blue line. He'll solicit it to his left for Gratton. As Gratton tried to get it to Friesen and bounced off a Bloomington stick. As Friesen delivers a push on Sedov. As Nikita Sedov has 2 assists tonight. As at the blue line, Bloomington zone. As taken by Friesen, will skate in lefty. Shot saved by Tongue off his glove. Rebound goes towards Bloomington. 4:18 on a moving clock, second period. Puck is rainbowed in towards Grizzlies ice. It's taken back by Luke Manning. Manning loses control of the puck. He regathers it. Far circle of his own zone. Ice surface may play a little bit of tricks, as it was a little bit on the soft side earlier today, and it certainly is playable enough to give it a go here this afternoon, but that's a big part as to why the start time was pushed back from 3 o'clock to 4. Gansky with the puck, the big 6'7" defenseman, former Fort Wayne Comet, curls it across. Hanson Bukata out to center ice for Barbashev, who fires it off the boards. We mentioned the Grizzlies with an odd number of defensemen. They're going to be switching up the defensive pairings quite a bit here this evening. As puck towards center ice near the Bloomington bench, we get a whistle. As there were some guys coming on and off the ice. I'm not sure if a team was caught with too many. Maybe a hand pass was called. Faceoff's going to be at center ice. As Grizzlies will have the forward line. Let's see. It looks like they're going to switch up. But I've really been impressed with that forward line of Manning, Yedlichka, and Barbashev. As Grizzlies will get Mikey Colella out there with Mike Gillette and John Gillette. So it's the 2 Gillette brothers and Mikey Colella on the ice. All 3 of them are from the East Coast. Ends in Salem, the defensive pairing. Gillette's been with the Grizzlies. John Gillette's been with the Grizzlies all year. Mike Gillette signed about a month ago, and Mikey Colella about the same. As I think Gillette and Colella were signed at about the same time in mid-November. As John Gillette with the puck, he danced back and forth, trying to get towards Colella, taken away by Bloomington. As the Bison towards the left corner, get pushed by John Gillette. Gillette's been a strong two-way forward this season, the first-year pro at a Holy Cross. As the Grizzlies win the 50-50 puck, Salem out to the left side, off of Mike Gillette, sticking and flies out of play as it hit the top of the glass and goes out of play. As the fan's going to come away with a frozen puck. 3:09 left in the second. Draw's going to be near the Grizzlies bench. Shot count's been a little bit more towards the Grizzlies' favor. Here's the second period has progressed. Bloomington's taken 8 shots here in the second period. The Grizzlies have 8, so 8 shots apiece here in the second period. At one point, Bloomington had a 5-1 edge in the shot count in the period. As Grizzlies trying to climb back into this one, Bloomington leads 3-0. Bison win the draw. Chris Ortiz strides out to center ice. He'll backhand it to Shane Ott. Shot Ott centers it to Matsushima. It's knifed away by Colella. Matsushima loses his stick. He'll get a new one from his equipment manager. John Gillette comes with the puck. He'll feed it to Noah Gansky at center ice. Gansky strides along the right wing, steps over the offensive line. Now skates around Bloomington's net. Boy, for a guy 6'7", Gansky moves around really well. Gansky towards the right side. Now he does pretty much a complete circle in the Bloomington zone. He gets cut off by one of the referees and loses his pursuit. Up top, Hanson Bukata, left wing. He fires towards the net. Blocker saved by Tongue. As Ortiz gets it ahead. Taking the puck's Kyle Jackson. He'll skate towards the left wing. Enns joins the play, kind of catching up with him. Good job by Colby Enns. He's been a dependable defenseman all year. Over to the right corner, Boilard delivers a hit. Boilard's about as strong as anybody on the Grizzlies club. Across Utah's net towards Enns, who zips it off a Timofeyev's stick. And he goes all the way down, no icing, as Connors delivers a hit on a Bison skater. Bloomington comes 2-on-2 across center ice. Mack towards the left wing, as Boilard does a good job making sure he doesn't get a shooting angle. Mack chips it towards the right side. Bloomington dangling back and forth. Righty shot goes wide. Sadov already 2 assists tonight. Feeds it to the corner where it bounced off of Enns' stick. Timofeyev spins around with Kyle Jackson nearby. Boilard fires one off the near wing boards, and it's taken by Sedov at center ice. Sedov will throw it back around the wall. Karpa had 2 goals on Friday. Gets up top, but it goes past Brendan Dadema. And it goes deep into the Bison zone. 1:25 on a moving clock here in the second period. Bloomington leads 3-0. They've scored 1 goal in the first and 2 in the second. Morrison bounced it to the middle of the ice. Gansky cuts around Musatelli's net. As you mentioned, Gansky, for his size, is an outstanding skater, as he's been fun to watch all year. Friesen ahead to Lebster at center ice. Arm is raised as towards the near wing boards, Friesen took a spill. And I believe it's going to be another Utah power play. Aiden McDonald looking at the penalty box, looking at linesman Andrew Collins. Friesen's back to his feet. And McDonald and Morrison look nearby. Penalty is going to be on somebody, but we can't tell who's going to the box as of yet. So looks like it's going to be Brad Morrison. He gets 2 minutes for interference. And the referee just says, go to the box. I don't want to hear anymore. It's Brad Morrison. He's done just about everything today. He scored a goal, and he points to the penalty box. Should I take a seat here? Brad Morrison can't believe it. He's actually going to be as interested in looking at this replay as anybody. It's kind of hit Friesen from behind. Just one of those where just kind of nudged the backside of Friesen. Friesen went sprawling. And Brad Morrison looks at himself on the video board. There's 1:06 left in the second period. He didn't react too much after he saw the replay. Interference is the call. 18:54 into the second. Well, if we're being perfectly honest, the Grizzlies need a momentum changer, and they can maybe do it with this power play. Remember, with just 1:06 left in the second, if they don't score here late in the second period, they get the power play to start the third. Eddie Matsushima talking with a couple of officials. The ice surface was a big question coming into play tonight, and you got to tip your cap to those that work on the ice surface here at Maverick Center, as it's held up beautifully through the first 40 minutes. It's a little bit soft for most of the day, and it's still kind of a little bit more on the soft side. Guys have just got to be assertive with their passes and their skating. Grizzlies win the draw. Anson Bukata over in the left point. He'll throw it towards Gratton. Now he's trying to get to Friesen. One-timer he swung and missed as he had somebody on the back check knocking him over. Musatelli plays it in front of the crease and late gets it to Lebster. Reed Lebster to the middle of the ice. It goes towards Hanson Bukata. He's at neutral ice. He'll chip it back to Genev. Genev right wings into Gratton off the stick. Gratton 8 power play goals this season. Trying to get up top to Lebster. Puck flips high into the air. Gloved and dropped by Lebster. As Hanson Bukata over towards Lebster in the right circle. He'll fire a righty shot. Glove saved by Tongue. Boy, good effort by Reed Lebster. Skated towards the right circle. Trying to go glove side, and Lebster with that quick-looking wrist shot. But Callum Tongue, the Bloomington goaltender, is in some respects showing why he picked up an NHL contract with the New York Rangers after a strong college season at UConn last year. By Lebster, what's he done this season? Well, 28 goals, which ranks second in the league, and he also came into play third in the league in shots on goal. At 160 coming into play, he's got at least 2 or 3 tonight. As Utah, Friesen gets up top after winning the faceoff and head to Hanson Bukata. Now Lebster left wing, skates towards a circle across to Genev, but the pass was overled for him. Genev gets it off the boards. 18 seconds left in the period. Genev dances back and forth right wing. Now he gets the Lebster down the middle of the ice. Lebster gets it poked away, and it slides off of Friesen skating back towards Utah ice. 6 seconds left in the period. Left wing feed off the face of Lebster off of Bloomington's stick. Now Bloomington will slide it deep in the Grizzlies zone. And that will do it for 40 minutes here at Maverick Center. As this crowd has really been quiet throughout. Bloomington 1 goal in the first, and they scored 2 goals in the second period. Brad Morrison, 9:36, and made it a 2-0 game. And then Chris Ortiz from the left wing fired a backhand shot. Glove side pass, Musatelli. Now it's 13:50 in to give it a 3-0 game, and that's where we sit after 40 minutes. So Utah's going to be looking for a third period comeback, but remember the Grizzlies do have 13 goals on 54 shots in 6 games in the month of February in the third periods. So Utah at times has been a really strong third period club, and they're going to need a great third period to come back against this strong Bloomington club. We'll come back and go over the first 2 periods, the stats and the stories, and we'll also go over those other 2 games in the league. After 40 minutes of play here in the rubber match of a 3-game series, it's the Bloomington Bison 3 and the Utah Grizzlies nothing. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 38th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to thank everyone in attendance for your support of ECHL hockey. The ECHL would also like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, exclusive signage provider; Athletic Knit, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2026 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Dash, official mobile auction platform; The Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Flow Sports, exclusive streaming provider; Hotel Planner, official hotel reservations partner; Howie's Hockey Tape, exclusive hockey tape and lace provider; In Glasgow, exclusive puck provider; Prolific One, exclusive secondary ticketing partner; and Warrior.
We've got one of sports' great traditions here at Maverick Center. The Coca-Cola can race is here on the Maverick Center ice. We have Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, Sprite, and Fanta, the season standings. Sprite and Fanta each have 2 victories. Coca-Cola and Diet Coke each have 1 win. Sammy Miller, the MC, is demonstrating the contest. She's going over the rules.
Around the ice, go around the goal. Whoever crosses the finish line will be the winner and go home with a prize pack courtesy of Coca-Cola. Grizz fans, are y'all ready?
So they're going to do a lap around the ice. We've got 4 cans on the ice. And they're off. Fanta takes an early lead. Sprite's in second. Diet Coke in third. Coca-Cola's bringing up the rear in fourth. Diet Coke passes Sprite and Fanta. Diet Coke will get about halfway through. They've got a wobble around the net. Diet Coke loses bounce. So does Sprite and Fanta. Coca-Cola's in last place by a mile. Coca-Cola is in first. Fanta takes a spill. Sprite trying to close the gap, as Sprite gets cut off by Grisby for some reason, and Diet Coke crossed the finish line. Diet Coke is the winner. Sprite finishes in second, Fanta in third, and Coca-Cola will finish somewhere near the halfway point of the third period. Coca-Cola is all of us trying to get through life. And for some of us, getting through life is very, very much a tough challenge. Well, Coca-Cola finally crossed the finish line. And with Diet Coke getting the victory, we now have a 3-way tie for the lead. Sprite, Diet Coke, and Fanta with 2 victories. Coca-Cola with 1 win. We'll come back and have the stats and stories of the first 2 periods. After 2 periods here at Maverick Center, Bloomington leads Utah 3-0. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear. We made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down. We go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to AmericaFirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
After 2 periods here at Maverick Center, the Bloomington Bison have a 3-0 lead over the Grizzlies. I'm Tyson Whiting. In the first period, Bloomington had two different instances of a 5-on-3 power play. Luke Salem picked up a holding penalty, 8:13 in, and less than a minute later, Noah Gansky got a cross-checking minor. With the 5-on-3 early in the contest, Bloomington coach Philip Barsky used his one timeout. And it was certainly a good use of the timeout as Bloomington scored on the 5-on-3, 9:26 in, as Riku Ashita scored a one-timer from a Nikita Sedov pass. Kyle Jackson also picked up an assist. That was 9:26 into the first period. Bloomington led 1-0 after 20 minutes of play. And Bloomington outshot Utah 11-6 in the first period. In the second frame, the Grizzlies outshot the Bison 10-8. Brad Morrison gave Bloomington a 2-0 lead. He scored 9:36 in. Was set off and Karpa gained the assist. And then Chris Ortiz made it a 3-0 game as he got the puck in the left circle, just kind of skated towards his right to the middle of the ice and fired a backhand shot past the left glove of Jacob Musatelli. Goaltending matchup so far. Callum Tung has saved all 16 shots he has seen. Jacob Musatelli on the Utah side, in his Grizzlies debut, he has saved 16 of 19. Of the 16 shots Utah has through two periods, Evan Friesen and Luke Manning each lead the way with 2. And Maro Shelichka and Maxim Barbashev each have 2 shots, and a bunch of other Grizzlies with 1 shot each. For Bloomington, it's been a very balanced attack. Brendan Datema has 3 shots, as does Sung Jae Lee, making his series debut. Rico Ishida, 1 goal on 3 shots for the Bison, and all 3 of them are defensemen. So quite a few of their shots and quite a bit of their production for the Bison have been by their defensemen. Chris Ortiz, 1 goal on 2 shots, and I've been really impressed with some of the Bloomington defensemen in this series. Colin Ferguson doesn't have any points, but he's been a standout for Bloomington in this series as well. Grizzlies do have one more game this season against Bloomington, and that's going to be on the road in Bloomington on March 6th. That's going to be a 6 o'clock start. 2 other games in the league, and, we're certainly rooting for Dylan Wells when he's not playing against the Grizzlies. He's an outstanding guy, and, he got off to a strong start to the season. Obviously, had the 46-save shutout against Idaho. Wells now has 2 shutouts in a Kansas City uniform, as he picked up a 23-save clean sheet as Kansas City defeated Orlando, as Low Height, Janicki, Carpenter, and Carew each found the back of the net for the Mavericks. They got a 4-0 road victory at Kia Center against the Orlando Solar Bears. And a game that finished in a shootout, Adirondack defeats Atlanta 4-3. Cody Sylvester had 2 goals for Atlanta. Adirondack had goals from 3 different players. Game went to round 4 of a shootout, where the Adirondack Thunder came up with a victory, with Patrick Grasso getting the game winner. Adirondack goaltender Jeremy Brodeur, the son of Martin Brodeur, he saved 39 of 42 and 3 of 4 in the shootout. For Atlanta, TJ Semptenfelter saved 27 of 30 and 2 of 4 in the shootout. NHL is currently off on Olympic break. Team USA is in the round of 8, and it'll be interesting. They still don't know who they're going to play. We'll find out tomorrow, as there's going to be 4 men's Olympic games. Earlier today, Team USA women's hockey picked up a shutout victory, and USA has been dominant. They will play in the gold medal game, and hopefully Team USA will come away with the gold medal. All right, we're through 2 periods here at Maverick Center. The Zambonis on the ice. One of the stories, obviously, is the game was delayed an hour from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. There was a power outage overnight here at Maverick Center. The off-ice officials, really not the off-ice officials, the off-ice officials definitely deserve a ton of credit for what they've done over the years, but those that handle the ice here at Maverick Center, you got to tip your cap. They've done an outstanding job making this a playable surface here this afternoon. They deserve all the credit in the world. Second period stats, if you're watching on Flow Sports, they're on the screen. Grizzlies had 6 scoring chances. Bloomington had 5 through 2 periods. Grizzlies have 10 and Bloomington has 10. So both teams with 10 scoring chances through 2 periods. Grizzlies won the faceoff battle pretty handily, 17-10 in the second period and 30-16 through 2 periods. Power play shots, Grizzlies had 1. Bloomington didn't have a power play in the second period. Hits, Grizzlies had 9 and Bloomington had 7. So through 2 periods, Grizzlies have a 14-13 edge. Giveaways, Grizzlies had 5 and Bloomington had 4. So through 2 periods, both teams have 7 giveaways. So really statistically, face-off circle, the face-off battle has been in the Grizzlies' favor. Hits and giveaways have been pretty even. Scoring chances are even 10 apiece. But Bloomington's got the 3-0 lead. We have mentioned, and we probably will mention a couple more times about the Grizzlies' third-period success as of late. They have scored 13 third-period goals on 54 shots over their last 6 games. Obviously, it's the 7th game in February, and here in the month of February, the Grizzlies have been unbelievable in the third period. So if Utah can find a way to get one here early in the third period with Utah's ability to score in bunches, this one is certainly far from over. But obviously, they're going to have to do it against a tough Bloomington club with good goaltender and Callum Tongue, who's got an NHL contract with the New York Rangers. And Bloomington is probably going to sit back a little bit. Obviously, they're not going to get too passive, but they're not going to let the Grizzlies get those odd man breaks and utilize their speed. And really, if you're looking at some adjustments that have been made in this series from Friday to Saturday and even from Saturday to today, you're probably looking at, Bloomington eliminating some of those odd man breaks. The Grizzlies had quite a few 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s. They had a lot of opportunities where they were utilizing their speed, and the Grizzlies scored quite a few goals off of that in Friday night's game. But, you look at Saturday night, it's kind of played more towards Bloomington's style of play. They didn't let the Grizzlies utilize their speed nearly as much. And you can say the same for how things have been here so far today. So really, that's a big thing. Can the Grizzlies get out in open ice, maybe get some odd man breaks, and see if they can find a way to utilize their team's speed and utilize their playmaking ability with guys like Danny Genev and Riley Connors. And, I've really been impressed with Jedlichka so far this week, this series. And, Luke Manning's come back, and he's come back really strong here in this homestand. In fact, he's got a goal in all 3 games in this homestand coming into play tonight. And obviously, you can't forget about that forward line of Tyler Gratton, Evan Friesen, and Reed Webster. It's just a matter of, can the Grizzlies play their style of hockey? Can they get out in open ice and see if they can utilize their playmaking ability to get that first goal? And then once they get that first one, Utah has utilized on many occasions this season. The old saying, you get 1, you get 2, and hey, maybe the Grizzlies can find a way to get 2 in a short amount of time and make this an interesting third period. I'm not sure it's one of those where the first 5 minutes are going to count, because obviously the Grizzlies have had a lot of success in these second halves of the third periods here recently as well. But it's going to be interesting, especially the first few shifts of the third period. The Grizzlies come out with some scoring chances. What's on tap here for the Grizzlies? If they show it on the video board, the Allen Americans are going to host the Grizzlies this weekend, Friday and Saturday, over in Allen, Texas, February 20th and 21st. Face-off both nights will be 6:10 in the Mountain Time Zone. And then the Tahoe Night Monsters will be in town. That's the next homestand for the Grizzlies. Wednesday, February 25th, as well as Friday, February 27th, and Saturday, February 28th. And remember, Friday and Saturday, the 27th and 28th, will be Grizzlies Fight Cancer Weekend. So that's what's on tap for the Grizzlies here over their next 5 games. We'll come back and have third period action on the other side. Once again, after 2 periods, it's the Bloomington Bison 3 and the Utah Grizzlies nothing. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear. We made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down. We go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. They're interviewing a fan that says he's been to Grizzlies games over the last 8 or 9 years. I can say the same. Well, we'll see if the Grizzlies can get a goal here in the third period as it's 3-0 Bloomington. The Bison have outscored the Grizzlies 9-6 so far in this series. Utah got a 5-3 win on Friday night as they got goals from 5 different players. And remember, the Grizzlies scored 3 goals in the third period on Friday night as they got a 5-3 win. Saturday night, it was Bloomington getting a 3-1 win, but it was really 2-1 with an empty netter at the very end. All time. And tonight, obviously, it's 3-0 Bloomington as they got a first period goal from Riku Ishida and second period goals from Brad Morrison and Chris Ortiz. Dance cam, get down Grisby. Well, Grisby's having a good time on the dance cam as we're all having a good time here on a Monday afternoon. And remember, the Grizzlies will be home quite a bit in the month of March. We mentioned the next homestand against Tahoe, February 25th, 27th, and 28th. Utah will be home for a 3-game set against the Tulsa Oilers on March 12th, 14th, and 15th. And the season will end with 9 straight home games. So the Grizzlies will have a 9-game homestand to end the 2025-26 regular season. We really haven't mentioned it too much, but obviously this is the Utah Grizzlies' final hunt. And I think the Grizzlies are trying to just kind of end in style and end on the right note. You know, it's certainly been a tough set of circumstances for everybody that follows the Grizzlies, not only as fans, but people that work for the Grizzlies, knowing that 2 months from now, you know, things are just going to come to an end. And that's certainly tough for all of us, but we're just trying to make some memories and have some fun the best we can. Now, both teams are now headed back to the ice. Jacob Musatelli leading the Grizzlies. And for Bloomington, it's Callum Tongue. You know, it's interesting. Grizzlies got that 5-3 victory over Bloomington on Friday, but I actually thought Callum Tongue played a good game for Bloomington. Grizzlies had some grade A chances in the third period and were able to capitalize on them. And they had to really make some nice shots. Man, I'm thinking the play of the week in the league has got to be Reed Webster scoring about 1:50 into the third period last Friday. And it was just a beautiful move where he went between his legs and then fired a backhand shot, glove side past Tongue. It's one of the best goals we'll see all season. Reed Webster is second in the league with 28 goals on the year, and he really got the party started on Friday there, as with that goal, you know, he tied the game, and then Riley Connors scored what turned out to be the game winner a few minutes later. Actually was, and, you know, for the Grizzlies, you know, can they find a way to win the special teams battle in this third period? The officials seem to have called it a little bit tighter here today. Bloomington's 1 for 4 on the power play. Utah is 0 for 2. They show some highlights of the first 2 periods. Grizzlies have had some chances. One of the best chances in the second period was Reed Webster on a power play from the right wing. And we have, you know, we've kind of, I'd say, buried the lead a little bit. The Grizzlies will be on the power play for the first 54 seconds of the third period. So during the second intermission, we've kind of been talking about the first 5 minutes being critical. But the Grizzlies being on the power play to start the third period, it almost feels like the first minute. I'm not sure if it's going to dictate how things are going to go. But the Grizzlies are going to have to find a way to at least get some offensive zone time and at least get something going offensively off this power play situation. As Brad Morrison continues with his interference minor, remember, he went to the box 18:54 into the second period. So Grizzlies will have a 5-man unit of Tyler Gratton, Evan Friesen, and Reed Webster, Aiden Hansen-Bukata, and Danny Geniev. Utah's in the middle of their second power play in the afternoon. Taking the draw for Bloomington is Lou Felix Denis. And the draw won by Denis and the Bison as Reed Webster gets dragged down. Well, it looked like he got dragged down by the referee, Tatu Kuto. Bloomington clears it all the way towards Musatelli. 15 seconds into the period. Geniev gets around Matsushima, steps over the offensive line, skates towards the right corner, and he'll wobble it across towards Tyler Gratton. Not necessarily the best time with a fresh sheet of ice to be on the power plays. Everybody seems to have a tough time getting their balance. Gratton will skate back towards neutral ice voluntarily. As there's 15 seconds left in the power play, Lepster strides into the left point. Now he just kind of pedals towards his left. Gets to Friesen around Bloomington's net. Over to Genev, right corner. Danny Genev dancing back and forth as he surveys 3 seconds left in the power play. Genev left a shot, saved by Tongue. Rebound goes towards the right corner. As coming out of the box is Brad Morrison. Grizzlies still in the offensive zone as Genev gets to Hanson Bukata. He gets across to Friesen, lefty shot, hits the near post and a little bit of the near side of the net. Boy, Friesen had a pretty good look. Bloomington will rainbow it right under the video board and it goes all the way down for a Bison icing. As there's 18:45 left in the third. I've been messing that up all weekend. Bison called for icing, or a Bison icing or something. I don't know. Took to the last period of this 3-game series, finally nailed it. Hey, we're having some fun here on a Monday afternoon. Crowd's a little bit more on the quiet side here this evening. Luke Manning will take the drive. He's got Barbashev to his right. Leach is kind of up top right behind Manning, as there's Salem and Gansky on the ice as well. Bloomington wins the draw as Morrison will skate towards neutral ice. Morrison will chip it. Bloomington's got like 7 or 8 guys on the ice. I am very surprised there weren't a call for too many on the ice. Bloomington had the puck. They tried to make a line change. There were 8 players on the ice at one point, and we're going to continue to skate 5-on-5. Luke Salem out towards Yadlichka, who feeds him behind his back for Luke Manning. As Manning gets walloped, but it's the Bison skater that goes down, and that was Sung Jae Lee. He'll get it out to center ice off of Morrison's stick. Hanson Bukata runs it down. I got to take a freeze frame of that shot where Bloomington had like 8 guys on the ice, and they had control of the puck at neutral ice. Hanson Bukata gets it ahead off of Barbashev's skate. He falls down as Lou Felix Denis nearby with John Gillette. As puck towards the Bloomington line. And Gillette tried to move it ahead, but Yadlichka was already in the Bloomington zone. He'll skate off the ice for a change. The Grizzlies will get the forward line of Yaroslav Yevdokimov with John Gillette and Mikey Colella. Off the near wing boards, puck goes towards Shane Ott. Centers it out in front. It's picked off by Colby Enns. Good defensive play by Enns. It looked like Ott was trying to get to Eddie Matsushima, who had 3 solid seasons with Tulsa in recent years. Yevdokimov drops it for Colella, who crosses center ice. He'll fire it in. Colin Ferguson wraps it around the boards. Matsushima, the Bloomington captain, second year as the Bloomington captain. The Bison are in their second year of existence. Now Bloomington towards the left wing, stops towards the corner. They get it up top. Colella will knife it out towards center ice. And Bloomington fires it back in. Lucatelli plays behind his net. We're about 3 minutes into the third period, and it's still 3-0 Bison. As Utah's taken 1 shot here in the third period, Bloomington's yet to fire away on Musatelli. As Gansky gets towards center ice and dumps it in, as Ferguson gets walloped by Riley Connors, the Yale and St. Lawrence product. As Bloomington gets it ahead to Morrison, who's been outstanding this series. Centering pass, a swing and a miss. As Morrison's feed got some air under it, trying to get to Aiden McDonald. Genev over the offensive line, skates towards the middle of the ice. He's surrounded by 4 Bison skaters. Puck goes back to neutral ice. Connors will whip it in as Timofeyev was still in the Bloomington zone, skating towards the bench. As Bison have the puck, they'll get it out towards Sung Jae Lee. First time he's played in the series. He'll flop it forward as it goes back towards Hanson Bukata. AHB off of Friesen, and it goes deep into the Bloomington zone. And icing is on Utah with 16 minutes and 9 seconds left in the third. So draw's going to come back towards Jacob Musatelli, who's making his Grizzlies debut tonight. And for Musatelli, he has so far saved 16 of 19. So draw's going to be over in the right circle. Lou Felix Denis will take the draw. For the Grizzlies is going to be, I think, Riley Connors. He's kind of hiding behind linesman Andrew Collins. It was Evan Friesen taking the draw. The puck went back towards AHB, who moves it out to center ice. Denis ahead towards Kyle Jackson, who throws it in. Bloomington in a white jersey with light blue towards the middle portion of the jersey and light blue on the shoulders. Red numbers on the back and the sleeves of the jerseys. Grizzlies in the black jersey with white numbers and professional green trim. Gratton gets up top to Salem. He's in the left point. Salem slides in the middle of the ice for Gratton. He'll take a lefty shot, and it goes high and out of play. Puck might have ricocheted off Kyle Jackson's stick. Bloomington's NHL affiliate is the New York Rangers. They have a Rangers logo on the shoulder of their jersey. It's their second year as an affiliate of the Rangers, and obviously Bloomington's in their second year of existence. Their AHL affiliates, the Hartford Wolfpack. For the Grizzlies, they're in their 8th season as an affiliate of the Colorado Avalanche and Colorado Eagles. Luke Manning talking things over with Miros Yelichka. Maxim Barbashev, the former Bison skaters out there as well. Barbashev, a former Rangers draft pick. As Manning wins the draw cleanly. He's won quite a few faceoffs here this afternoon. Gansky high slot, righty shot. Glove saved by Tongue. As he kind of slid a little bit towards his left to make the stop. Not sure if they're officially going to give Gansky credit for a shot, as you can argue that the shot would have gone wide had Tongue not caught it. So faceoff's going to be over in the right circle. Fans are here are having a good time at Maverick Center. It's a pretty decent crowd, kind of spread out a little bit. I'd say the most fans are probably sitting in section 113, quite a few in 112. Section 103 is packed pretty good here as well. As a puck is skied just under the video board, Luke Salem gets it. Salem sporting a mustache. He's been a solid performer for the Grizzlies, both with and without the puck. He gets around center ice and he fires it in as he puts a dent to the end boards. Yelichka battles with two Bison skaters, gets it towards Barbashev. Puck off the stick and hippity hops to Salem in the high slot. Salem throws the puck to the left corner and it hits off the skate of referee Tatu Kunto. A couple times has gotten in the way either of pucks or of players skating towards him. Kallian Kovic's chasing after Noah Gansky in the far corner as the puck goes back towards Salem. Luke Salem will fly it just around the video board, and according to linesman Andrew Collins, the puck hit the video board. So draw is going to come into the Grizzlies zone. You know, in baseball, they've got grounds rules for certain things, and here at Maverick Center, if the puck is bouncing off the video board, it will turn into a defensive zone draw. So a team that fires it off the video board, puck just ends up in their zone in the next faceoff. Well, not sure why, but it looks like head coach John Buchanan is headed to the locker room. Not sure why, but, you know, equipment staff were looking, and John Buchanan walked towards the locker room. Now Buchanan's going to walk back towards the Grizzlies bench. He's in his first season as Grizzlies head coach. Assistant coach Ryan Anderson has done an outstanding job, as well as Buchanan. As puck is saucered towards Genev, it goes over his stick. Bison lead 3-0. They're just trying to slow down the game a little bit. Genev towards the right wing, avoids a Yemen's check. Now Genev behind the net, keeps his feet, throws it to the middle of the ice for Timofeyev, who didn't get much on a one-time attempt. As Bloomington will bounce one off at Colby Enns. Enns holds his ground in the right point of the Bison zone. As 3-on-3 scrum, and it goes towards the Bison. As Bloomington will tap it off the glass. Boilar, left wing. Well, I thought hand pass might have been called, but no. Connors right side, shot, a score! Left wing, righty shot. Riley Connors fired it over Callum Tongue's left glove. And the Grizzlies get on the board with 13:59 left in the third. And I got to say, I think the Grizzlies got away with one. It looked like Waller had the puck in the left point. Might have thrown a hand pass out to Timofeyev. It wasn't called. Grizzlies will certainly take it. Timofeyev got it to Connors in the left circle, and Connors got the puck, skated towards the left dot, and fired it over the glove of Callum Tongue. The officials are talking it over right now, and I think they're talking about the potential hand pass. As Waller had the puck, just kind of had his glove and just kind of scooped it towards Timofeyev. I'm not sure if he really got it with his glove or maybe it was his arm or whatever the case may be. And I think that's what the three officials are talking over right now. This puck ended up with Timofeyev, who got it to Connors, and Riley Connors scores his 12th of the year. I don't think this is a reviewable play, so they got to talk it over and see if they can get it right. Grizzlies will certainly take it if it is a goal. As 6:01 into the third period. And now they're going to go to the fourth official. I think it's inconclusive with the other three officials And now they're going to get the opinion of Colin Kleinendorf. I think exactly what they're talking about is whether a hand pass should be called on Blaular. As he had the puck in the left point, just kind of had his glove near the puck and just kind of nudged it towards Timofeyev. So if the goal stands, it'll be Connor's 12th of the year. Stepan Timofeyev will get his 14th assist, and Blaular will get his first point as a Grizzly with an assist. So the four officials are talking it over. And it's one of those that could have gone either way. Puck was bouncing. Did Blaular actually throw a hand pass towards Timofeyev? Andrew Collins skating towards center ice. I think they're going to count this as a goal because Collins is handing the puck towards the off-ice officials, and they keep the first pucks, their option on the Dash Auction app. So I think the two referees are talking it over with Eddie Matsushima and Noah Gansky. Now Gansky skating towards the Grizzlies bench. So Utah is hoping that it's a 3-1 game. When I saw it live, I was a little bit surprised that a hand pass wasn't called, but the Grizzlies will take it if it's a goal. Faceoff's going to be at center ice. And it looks like it's a good goal. It's a 3-1 game. And Philip Barsky is going to get an explanation from referee Jordan Watt. The puck was kind of in that blind spot where we are seeing in the left point. Well, Bloomington's not arguing it too much. I'm a little bit surprised that they're not arguing it more unless there's a good explanation as to why the goal counted and they didn't call it a hand pass. Bloomington iced the puck as there's 13:53 left in the third. So the Grizzlies will take it. Riley Connors gets his 12th of the year. Timofeyev and Blaular with the assists. As he fired a left wing righty shot right over the glove of Callum Tongue. And for Blaular, that's his first assist and first point as a Grizzly. Over to the right wing, hands Buchanan, fires towards the net and is blocked. Grizzlies win another faceoff. They have dominated the faceoff circle here tonight. Now Bloomington crosses center ice. As Bison skate in, back in, shot. Glove saved by Musatelli. Ricocheted off his glove. Puck still alive. Good stop by the Grizzlies goaltender. Left point shot is ricocheted about 10 feet in front of the crease. It crashes off the glass. Grizzlies come back the other way. Friesen tried to split a double team down the middle, and he loses control of the puck. Carper over the offensive line. Hill dropping off. As the Bison get to Brad Morrison, he fires lefty shot that's blocked. Bloomington leads 3-1, but the Grizzlies have momentum. Tatum up, gets it across, and set off over to the right circle as Morrison will drop it back to a spot he vacated in the right corner. Ott collides with Colby Enns, taking the puck is Evan Friesen. Will tap it behind Utah's net to Colby Enns. Enns over to Salem in the left wing. Salem races across center ice, and he will spin one, airborne about 4 feet. Caught by Tongue, and he holds on with 12:47 left in the third. Bloomington leads 3-1, as Riley Connors got his 12th of the year, 6:01 with Timofeyev and Blaular gained the assists. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
It's Bloomington 3, Utah 1, but the Grizzlies have a little bit of momentum as Riley Connors scored 6:01 in, with Timofeyev and Blaular gained the assists. Of the 20 shots Utah has so far tonight, Evan Friesen and Luke Manning each have 3. And congratulations to Matu Blaular. He picked up his first point as a Grizzly with an assist. If Dokamov will take the drives out there with Mikey Colella and John Gillette. As off the face-off, puck pinballs off a couple sticks and rolls towards Callum Tung, who makes the save. Tung has saved 20 of 21. These Grizzlies are up to 21 shots to Bloomington's 20. So you have Dokamov will take the draw. He's been a strong addition for the Grizzlies. It's his first game in this series as he's making his home Maverick Center debut. I think if I remember right, he played in some games here at Maverick Center as a member of the Tulsa Oilers. Puck bounces in the left circle off the draw, taken by Bloomington as they'll skate out to center ice and one-handed ahead. Puck is taken by Mikey Colella, who's got a ton of speed. Skates around the net of Musatelli, races across center ice, gets around Denis as the Bison come back up with the puck. As Jackson over towards Mack off his stick, puck slides towards Utah's backboards. As Boilar battles with Mack, Gansky delivers a strong push on Mack. As puck's taken by John Gillette. He'll fire it off the far wing boards to Mikey Colella, and he'll get it in. You have Dokamov gets past the Bloomington defense, so no icing on the play. Dokamov gets hit pretty high and hard by Datema. As you have Dokamov is now holding his face as he is skating towards the bench. As you have Dokamov is going to be checked out by Brooke Timoney, the Grizzlies trainer. As puck goes behind Utah's net. Around the boards towards Luke Manning. Left wing feed to Barbashev, who crosses center ice, dangling back and forth. He gets cut off by two Bison skaters. Puck ricochets off the near wing boards. As Bloomington will plop it back towards Utah ice, where it's taken by Colby Enns. Enns ahead towards Barbashev, who plays in the right point. Lays it for Lichka. He'll take a lefty shot. Saved by Tung. Rebound out in front. It's taken by the Bison. Bloomington crosses center ice. And Lee will rainbow it deep towards Utah ice. It ricochets off one hop of the ice into the far corner. Anse Bukata throws it just under the video board as both teams are just trying to see how high they can throw the puck. Datema ahead to Matsushima off his stick just outside the Utah line. It goes all the way in. Connors gets the puck as both teams will switch up skaters. Connors over to the right side for Timofeyev, who gets around one Bison skater. Trying to center it, but it chipped off the stick of Sedov, who's got 2 assists tonight. Puck around the board. Salem fires a centering pass, and it's kicked off the skate of Zachary Karpa, who had 2 goals on Friday. Karpa gets around Salem. As Karpa keeps control, gets to the right wing. Morrison trying to feed it across, but there was nobody there other than a Grizzly. Genev gets hit up high. It's going to be a penalty on Bloomington. And there's 10:36 left in the third period. Genev trying to show blood. But it might be a 2-minute penalty. As Brad Morrison goes to the box. So this could be a golden opportunity for the Grizzlies to climb back into this game some more. High sticking's the call. As Brad Morrison will go to the box. I think it's just a 2-minute penalty. As Morrison tried to lift Genev's stick and instead got Genev right in the face. The time of Brad Morrison's high sticking penalty is 9:24 in. It's a critical power play for the Grizzlies halfway through the third period. Can Utah find a way to cut into the Bloomington lead? It's a 3-1 game. Bloomington scored 1 goal in the first period, 2 in the second. Riley Connors with a third period goal, 6:01 in. Priest will take the drives out there with Gratton and Lebster, Hanson, Buchanan, and Genev. Utah wins the draw. Hanson Buchanan drops it back to Lebster on the left point. Lebster skates towards his right and gets it to Genev. Genev lefty shot and a score! Grant was out in front, and it's now a 3-2 game. It looks like Danny Genev gets his 15th of the year. And the Grizzlies' power play gets another one. 15 power play goals in their last 12 games. As Danny Genev had Tyler Gratton out in front of the net. Looked like Genev was trying to get it to Gratton, but I'm not sure the puck ever got to the Grizzlies' captain. Well, let's see. Well, might have hit off Brandon Datema's stick. As Datema and Gratton had their sticks nearby, it actually kicked off the skate of Datema. So it is going to be Danny Genev getting his 15th of the year. As it did look like Genev was trying to get to Gratton, and it bounced off the skate of Brandon Datema and into the back of Bloomington's net. So Genev with the goal, Lebster and Hanson Buchanan with the assist. As the Grizzlies re-enter the zone, it's 3-2. Utah trying to get to Manning. It was overled for him. Manning off the boards. It's blocked. Now Manning gets it back in the left wing as we're going to get a penalty It might be another Utah power play as Manning got his stick held up. And 10:07 left in the third period. And it looks like it's going to be another Utah power play as Kyle Jackson goes to the box. So how about this? Grizzlies with 2 unanswered as they score goals 3 minutes and 34 seconds apart. And now they've got a chance to tie it up. We've been talking about how the Grizzlies have been a dominant offensive club in the third periods as of late. They've already got 2 third-period goals, and they're looking for a third. Hooking's the call, 9:53 in, as Kyle Jackson goes to the box. Grizzlies have the same 5-man unit that scored the power play goal, 9:34 in. Friesen will take the draw. Lepster, Grant, Hansen, Buchanan, and Genev. Grizzlies win the draw. They won a ton of faceoffs this afternoon. Hansen, Buchanan, left wing, lefty shot, saved by Tongue. And he will hold on with an even 10 minutes left in the third period. So Danny Genev and Hayden Hansen-Bukata, they each have 16 power play points this season. Genev 2 goals, 14 assists, and Hayden Hansen-Bukata 1 goal and 15 assists. For Reed Lepster, he picked up his 7th power play assist. 9:34 into the third. Bloomington wins the draw. It's 3-2 Bison, but the Grizzlies have tons of momentum. As Abramov crosses center ice, he'll throw it in. As the fans in section 113 serenade Kyle Jackson in the penalty box. Genev, left wing, gets it across to Lepster. Lepster over the offensive line, gets around Matsushima. Lepster stops in the right corner, gets up top to AHB. Hansen-Bukata over towards Lepster, who tried to slide it across. It bounced off a Bloomington skate. Now Genev across to Lepster, left wing. Siren pass to Gratton out in front, but it goes wide of the mark. As Hansen-Bukata skates towards the right side, lefty shot, and a blocker saved by Tongue. Gratton feeds up top to Genev. 9:18 left in the third. Minute 7 left in the power play. Genev, right wing, takes a lefty shot that's blocked by Ortiz. Genev up top to Hansen-Bukata, across to Lepster, just outside the left circle. As Lepster gets around Matsushima, and he'll bounce the puck off the boards to Hansen-Bukata. Across the right wing for Genev. Lefty shot safe. Rebound by Hansen-Bukata. His shot is blocked out in front by Ferguson. Genev gets the puck in the right wing. Skates towards the circle. As he surveys, he fires a low liner. And a score! It's Tyler Gratton, the Grizzlies captain, tying it up. What a comeback by the Grizzlies. Gratton gets his 14th goal of the year. It's his 9th power play goal. How about the patience of Danny Genev? He was over in the right circle and found Gratton out in front and did him up. Interesting because kicked off his skate on the last power play goal. He gave Gratton a little bit of room. So Genev had a passing angle. Genev to Gratton to the back of the net. The 2 Penn State products combined to tie it up. And on both of those power play goals, Tyler Gratton just hanging out in front of the crease, creating havoc. Gratton with the goal, Genev and Hansen-Bukata with the assist. AHB with 2 third period power play assists. And just like that, we're tied at 3. Bloomington dumps it in. As Musatelli plays behind his net, it's now anybody's game. And it's the Grizzlies power play once again, coming up huge. Utah trying to get to Barbashev at center ice, and it goes past him all the way down for a Grizzlies icing. So we talked about the Grizzlies' dominant third period production. They now have 16 third period goals on just under 60 shots. Here in this, the 7th game of February. And this crowd, which had been pretty quiet through their first 2 periods, has come alive here in the third. 8:24 left in the third. It's a 3-3 game, and it's been some of Utah's big guns getting the third period goals. Connor, 6:01 in. Genev on a power play, 9:34 in. 11:10 in. Tyler Gratton, the Grizzlies captain. 3 goals, 5 minutes, and 9 seconds apart. As Bloomington's in the offensive zone. Ott looked for a centering feed to Matsushima. Just couldn't handle it as he had Barbashev on the back check. Manning dancing back and forth. He'll fire a lefty shot, saved by Tongue. Rebound out in front of the crease. Bloomington clears it up and not out. AHB will fire it off the glass. It's the top of the boards. Bison swings it around to Matsushima, who battles with Hansen-Bukata. They hold each other up. Ott kicks it to center ice. Grizzlies back up with it. You had Leach go over to Riley Connors, who got the party started with his 12th of the year, 6:01 in. Connors gets around Ishida. Connors trying to feed one out in front. It kicks off the Ishida and rolls to the left corner. Grizzlies in the offensive zone as the puck will trickle over Timofeyev's stick as they hit the top of the boards. Bloomington back deep in their own zone. 7:25 on a moving clock. And we're tied at 3. 3 unanswered third period goals by the Grizzlies. They scored 3 goals in 5 minutes and 9 seconds. Colella over the offensive line as he gets taken off the puck by Lee as Bloomington, they're still in their own zone. Now they get it out to center ice. Waller has to go past him, and it's all the way down for a Bloomington icing as there's 7 minutes and 3 seconds left in the third. What a crazy third period once again for the Grizzlies. Boy, win, lose, or draw, you know the Grizzlies are going to put together an outstanding 60-minute effort. And that's that never say die attitude. That's where things have been a ton of fun. You think about just over the last couple months, the third period rallies the Grizzlies have come up with. As Bloomington wins the draw, it's a rubber match of a 3-game series. Lee will plop it out to center ice. As Lepster around center ice, avoids a check, but he hits the ice. He gets back to his feet. Gratton gets the bouncing puck just outside the Bloomington line. He fires it in. Lee around the boards, cut off by Lepster. Reed Lepster left wing, takes a righty shot. Saved by Tongue. Puck trickles in front of the crease, and Tongue covers up as there's 6:43 left in the third. Remember, these teams are going to meet in Bloomington for just a 1-game stop on March 6th. For the Grizzlies after that, they'll be in Cincinnati the following 2 days. So Drozgy in the left circle. You have Dokimov will take it for Utah. He's got Mike Gillette to his left and John Gillette to his right. Up top is Ensign Salem off the face-off. Puck rolls towards Tongue, who covers up with 6:42 left in the third. How about the shot count? Grizzlies are up to 31 shots as they have taken 13 shots. Make that 15 shots in the third period. Bloomington has 1. So 15-1 is the shot differential here in the third period. Grizzlies have been the aggressor here in the final frame just when they needed it the most. Ends out to center ice for Gillette, who plops it in. Mike Gillette chasing after it as he climbs with Datema. John Gillette drops it for his brother Mike, who battles with McDonald. As Mike Gillette gets pushed to the boards by Sedov. As John Gillette gets pinned with the boards. Now John Gillette skeets towards the right corner with the puck as he broke free of McDonald to take a lefty shot that's blocked. As Bloomington gets head towards Aiden McDonald, he's cut off by Colby Enns. As Kyle Jackson over the offensive line gets it tapped away from his stick to neutral ice. Matsushima will fire it back in. Both teams will switch up skaters. Less than 6 minutes left in regulation, and we've had a fun one here at Maverick Center. As there's a timeout on the ice after play stops behind Utah's net. Penalty might be called, and it looks like it's going to be matching penalties. Mike Gillette going in for Utah and McDonald for Bloomington. We'll find out how this ends on the other side. We're tied at 3 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 38th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to thank everyone in attendance for your support of ECHL hockey. The ECHL would also like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, exclusive signage provider; AthleticNet, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2026 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Dash, official mobile auction platform; The Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Flow Sports, exclusive streaming provider; Hotel Planner, official hotel reservations partner; Howie's Hockey Tape, exclusive hockey tape and lace provider; In Glasgow, exclusive puck provider; Prolific One, exclusive secondary ticketing partner; and Warrior, exclusive on-ice equipment provider and title sponsor of the 2026 ECHL All-Star Classic. Catch all of the ECHL action live in high definition by logging on to flowhockey.tv.
What great fun we've had here at Maverick Center. 5:45 left in the third. There were matching minors. Ada McDonald for Bloomington and Mike Gillette each got 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike. We're skating 5-on-5. Actually, we're skating 4-on-4 as the Grizzlies are called for offside with 5:30 left in the third. 4-on-4 action for 1 minute, 35 seconds. Bloomington had a 3-0 lead coming into the third period. The Grizzlies responded with 3 goals in the span of 5 minutes and 9 seconds. As Riley Connors scored 6:01 in with Timofeyev and Boilar gained the assists. And then on a power, then the Grizzlies scored 2 power play goals. Genev 9:34 in with Lebster and Hanson Bukata getting the assists. And Tyler Gratton tied it up on a centering feed from Genev out in front, 11-10 in. Hanson Bukata picked up a power play assist and picked up an assist in each of the power play goals. Bloomington towards the right circle of the Grizzlies zone. Matsushima slides a change up on towards Musatelli, who keeps the play alive. About 5 minutes left in regulation. Series is on the line. Grizzlies won 5-3 on Friday. Bloomington on Saturday won 3-1. Gansky has the puck. He'll skate behind his net. Grizzlies will switch up skaters around him. You're on the 4-on-4 situation. Both teams have 9 goals against the other in this series. Salem out to center ice. Gains the center red line, gets cut off. Salem will throw it back towards Grizzlies ice for Colby Ends. 4:40 left in regulation. Fans were a bit quiet in the first 2 periods, but they've really risen to their feet and had a ton of fun here in the third period. Barbashev over the offensive blue. He'll throw it in as he gets cut off, almost like an offensive lineman cut off Barbashev. As Barbashev and Genev watch the puck roll around the boards towards the right corner. Salem hustles after it. Puck goes down the middle of the ice. Genev fires lefty shot and it's blocked. As back behind the net, Bloomington will switch up skaters, and so will the Grizzlies. 10 seconds left in the 4-on-4, about 4 minutes left in regulation. As it's anybody's game. Grizzlies have outshot the Bison 15-1 here in the third period. Mike Gillette and Ada McDonald each skate to their respective bench areas. As Bloomington steps over the offense line, gets around Boilar. Puck slides towards Musatelli, who covers up with 3 minutes, 43 seconds left in the third. Attendance tonight, 3,638, 36-38. Here on President's Day, one of 3 games in the league. In terms of the shot count, obviously Grizzlies with 31, including 15 in the third period. Luke Manning, Aiden Hanson-Bukata, and Danny Genev each lead the way with 4. Draws over in the left circle as Matsushima will take the face-off against Riley Connors. Connors got the party started as he made it a 3-1 game, 6-1 in. Then the Grizzlies followed with 2 power play goals. Grizzlies won the draw as they'll tap it ahead. Mikey Colella out to center ice as he gets hit and taken off the puck by Chase Ortiz. As the Bison dance back and forth, Colin Ferguson skies it. He gets hit by Mikey Colella. That gets the crowd fired up. As puck towards center ice, it goes over Matsushima's stick. As the Bison, as Abramov gets hit by Boilar. Big time hit by the Grizzly defenseman. As back behind the net, Noah Gansky. He's got the puck behind Jacob Musatelli, making his Grizzlies debut. About 3 minutes left. We're skating 5-on-5. Freese and Lebster and Gratton are on the ice. As Gansky will drop it back for Hanson Bukati. Across the center ice, gets head to Freese off his stick. Puck goes to the left corner. Freese chasing after it. Sedov gets our 2 strides ahead of him. Lebster gets hit and taken off the puck by a Bison skater. Bloomington will sky it deep into the Grizzlies zone. No icing, says linesman Andrew Collins. As Hanson Bukata stands behind Utah's net. 2 minutes and 35 seconds on a moving clock here in the third period. We're tied at 3. Head towards center ice as Friesen gets around one skater. Now Friesen around Bloomington's net as he skates towards the right point. Up top, Lebster across to Salem, around the boards. 2:20 left in the third. As Bloomington, gentle push and a mild arc, and the puck goes towards center ice off of McDonald's glove. Salem ahead to Gratton, who dumps it in. Grizzlies will switch up skaters. As Gratton comes off, Lebster, Manning are on the ice for Utah. as the puck wobbles out at center ice. Now 2 minutes are left in the period. Shane Ott gets around. Gansky backhand shot. Saved by Musatelli. Boy, Ott with a pretty good move to get to the Utah goaltender, but was just denied by Musatelli. Not sure if the Grizzly goaltender got a glove in the way or not. As Gansky and Ott collide behind Utah's net, and Gansky, he loses both of his gloves. High slot shot that goes wide. Gansky, boy, it looks like he's in a little bit of pain as he's coming off the ice. High slot, lefty shot goes wide. Left wing righty shot, saved by Musatelli. As Abramov had the second shot, as Gansky looks like he's going to walk to the locker room, he crashed behind Utah's net, and both his gloves were laying on the ice. And Colin Klein-Dorsey, linesman, picks up both gloves and hands them towards the Grizzlies bench. So remember, Utah was coming in with 5 defensemen anyway, and with Gansky out, obviously there's only 1:31 left in the third period. Grizzlies might be down to 4 D-men. So faceoff's going to be over in the left circle as Gansky crashed awkwardly as he collided with Shane Ott. Well, hopefully Noah Gansky will be all right. Luke Manning will take the draw. He's out there with Yelichka and Barbashev. Smoke him if you got him. It's anybody's game, tied at 3. And what a third period comeback for the Grizzlies. Bloomington scored 1 in the first, 2 in the second. Grizzlies can score in bunches. And obviously with their power play being mighty over the last month, it was 2 power play goals. Genev 9:34 in and Grattan 11:10 in. Hanson Buchanan with 2 power play assists. He now has 30 assists overall in the season, 15 on the power play. Bloomington has the puck in the far corners. They're being hawked by Luke Manning. As Bloomington spins it around the wall as McDonald collides with Hanson Buchanan. As the puck towards Yelichka. He gets spun around by Karpa. As Ortiz trying to get it back up top towards Karpa, who drops it for Ortiz. Ortiz 1 goal tonight, skates towards the right corner, backhands it off to Hanson Buchanan, back to Ortiz. Karpa, right point, gets it across, set off, lefty shot, stick saved by Musatelli. 1 minute left in the third period as Luke Manning throws it into the Bison zone. Yelichka chases after it, but a Bison skater gets there first. 50 seconds left in regulation as Bloomington will rainbow it out to center ice. Puck will bounce through Abramov. Yelichka will slide it towards the Grizzlies bench. Loose puck Ferguson will fire it around the boards. As Boilar over in the right corner, as he tried to get around 2 Bison skaters, he stays along the boards. Salem and Timofeyev join the play as Matsushima trying to hack it away from Timofeyev. And the puck goes towards Yelichka. 2-on-2 as Timofeyev hits the ice. He got knocked down by Matsushima. Over to the right wing for Connors. He'd look to center to Salem. Great defensive play. Taking the puck away was Datema. 12 seconds left. Bloomington crosses center ice as Connors knocks down the pursuit of Shane Ott. A water bottle is laying in front of the Grizzlies bench. 3 seconds left. Matsushima backhand shot. Glove saved by Musatelli. And that will do it for regulation. We head to overtime, tied at 3. And what a third period comeback for the Grizzlies. They scored 3 goals in 5 minutes and 9 seconds. And both teams will get a standing point. And the Grizzlies are getting a standing ovation from this Maverick Center crowd. Boy, what a third period. And what a comeback by the Grizzlies. And now it's anybody's game. And really the big question for the Grizzlies, can they find a way to get an overtime victory? Utah is, their basic win-loss record is 1-5 in overtimes. Well, thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon. And this one turned out to be a doozy. Crowd was pretty quiet after 2 periods. But the Grizzlies with 3 unanswered. Third period goals. To review the scoring, 9:26 in. Ishida got his 7th of the year. It was a 5-on-3 power play goal for Bloomington. Halfway through the second period, Brad Morrison made it a 2-0 Bison lead as he scored his 9th of the year. Set off, picked up an assist in both of Bloomington's first 2 goals. Chris Ortiz scored unassisted 13:50 in. That made it a 3-0 game. Bison outscored the Grizzlies 3-0 in the first 2 periods. How about the third frame? The Grizzlies outshot Bloomington 15-4. It was 15-1 in the shot differential in the first 15 minutes of the third period. Riley Connors scored 6:01 in. It was a righty shot from the left wing. Then Danny Genev got a power play goal, 9:32 in. It was his 15th goal of the year. Webster and Hanson Buchanan with the assist. And then Tyler Grattan got his 14th of the year, a 9th power play goal of the season. Genev and Hanson Buchanan with the assists. Let's see the 3 on the ice for the Grizzlies to start overtime are. It's going to be Friesen, Webster, and Hanson Buchanan. For Bloomington, it's going to be Eddie Matsushima, Shane Ott, and Nikita Sedov. Grizzlies are going to be skating from left to right here in overtime. Utah's looking for their second overtime win of the year. Maxim Barbashev won in overtime on December 31st against Wichita. Thunder win the draw, and they'll immediately station themselves behind goaltender Callum Tung. As the Bison get it ahead to Shane Ott down the middle of the ice. Matsushima tried to throw a basketball screen at Friesen. He can't believe interference isn't called. Sedov down the middle of the ice, lefty shot, and he scores. And you got to call interference there. Bison win 4-3 as Friesen got cut off on a basketball screen, and that broke the Bison skater free. They were able to enter the offensive zone with momentum. Reed Lebster staring down the referee. Here it is right here. Basketball screen. Friesen had to get around him. I guess you could have called it either way. But the Bison got it to the middle of the ice for Sedov, who fired a lefty shot glove side past the goal line. And the Grizzlies can't believe it. Friesen in particular, his pursuit was cut off down the middle of the ice. Manning's looking up at the video board. All the Grizzlies can't believe it. Tyler Gratton is saying, look at the video board. There was a basketball screen, and the Grizzlies think interference should have been called. But the Bison get the 4-3 victory, and the Grizzlies come away from this series with 3 out of 6 standings points. Good crowd here on President's Day, and the Grizzlies salute the fans that showed up tonight. Well, Utah didn't really have the puck there in overtime. It was 20 seconds into OT. Bloomington won the draw, skated back behind their net, and then got towards center ice. And, boy, Friesen was just cutting off, and Matsushima was just kind of hanging out the Bloomington line. And, you know, whether interference should have been called or not, I guess depends on who you're rooting for and things of that nature. But it wasn't called, and as a result of it not being called, Bloomington was able to cut into the offensive zone with momentum. As the Bison were able to get to a cutting set-off down the middle of the ice, and Sedov had all the time and space to get whatever shot he wanted, and he fired it glove side past Musatelli for the game winner 20 seconds into overtime. But if you're a Grizzlies fan, and certainly if you're a Grizzlies player, based on how they were arguing after the game, they believe that interference should have been called, but it wasn't. And so as a result, Bloomington comes away with the series victory as they get a 4-3 overtime win. Well, you're talking about the Grizzlies earning a standing point. They certainly did so with their third period production, scoring 3 goals in the span of 5 minutes and 9 seconds. Bloomington took a 1-0 lead, and there was 2 different instances in the first period where Bloomington had 5-on-3 power plays. Luke Salem got a holding penalty, 8:14 in, and then Noah Gansky picked up a cross check, 9:04 in. And so, you know, Bloomington scored on that 5-on-3. It was interesting. Bloomington called their timeout before that 5-on-3 power play, and that was just about 9 minutes into the game. Riku Ashita scored his 7th of the year on a one-timer from the left circle. Sedov and Jackson picked up the assists. Bloomington led 1-0 after one period. They outshot the Grizzlies 11-6. Bloomington extended their lead 9:36 into the second period as Brad Morrison got his 7th of the year. Sedov and Karpa with the assists. Bison made it a 3-0 game as Chase Ortiz had the puck in the left circle, skated towards his right, then fired a backhand shot past Musatelli, glove side. That was 13:50 into the second, and that made it a 3-0 game. Bloomington had a 3-0 lead after 2 periods. The Bison outshot the Grizzlies actually outshot the Bison 10-8 in the second period. In the third frame, Utah outshot Bloomington 15-4. So the Grizzlies in the final 2 regulation periods had a 25-12 edge in the shot count. What got the party started, you know, it was one of those that sometimes you catch a bit of a break. You know, it's tough to really spot here as it was kind of on the blind spot of where we're sitting along the left point right there near the boards. But it looked like Boilar took his glove and just kind of tried to scoop it towards Timofeyev. Now, whether it ricocheted off his glove or maybe it hit his shoulder or something, we don't really know. But Timofeyev ended up getting the puck. He moved it to Connors in the left circle, and Connors fired a righty shot past the goal line. And that made it a 3-1 game. All 4 officials talked it over for a good 2 or 3 minutes to see if anybody saw a hand pass there by Boilar, but the goal stood, and that made it a 3-1 game. Connor scored 601 in. Timofeyev and Boilar with the assist, and for Mathieu Boilar, it's his first point as a Grizzly. Well, the power play has been outstanding for the Grizzlies over the last 13 games, and the power play got the Grizzlies back in it, as Brad Morrison got a high sticking minor 9:24 in, and 8 seconds into the power play was Danny Genev, who tried to center it to Tyler Gratton, but instead ricocheted the puck off of Brendan Dadema's skate and went off the skate of the Bloomington skater and into the back of the Bison net. So Genev gets credited for the power play goal. It's his 15th goal overall this season. He has 2 goals and 14 assists on the power play this year. And with that, it became a 3-2 game. And then Genev was in a similar spot, 11-10 in. It was a Grizzlies power play. Genev just kind of patient with the puck, and he found Gratton out in front. It was interesting. It looked like Dadem had kind of played Gratton a little bit differently, not wanting to get another one ricocheting off him. So there was a little bit more of a passing angle there from Genev to Gratton, and Gratton got the puck and fired it past the goal line, and that was his 9th power play goal of the year and 14th overall. Genev and Hanson Bukata with the assist. So 2 power play points again for Genev and Hanson Bukata, as they have been instrumental to Utah's power play success all season. And just like that, 11-10 into the third period, 3 goals in 5 minutes and 9 seconds. A 3-0 game turned into a 3-3 tie. It stayed tied at 3 throughout the rest of regulation. Jacob Musatelli made some key saves in the overtime session. Then the game went to overtime, and the Grizzlies never did get the puck. I think we're going to be, talking about it for, I guess, the rest of the week up until Friday's game about whether interference should have been called there on Matsushima, who clearly looked like he was throwing a basketball screen. Friesen had to get around him. Was there really contact there? I guess it depends on who you're rooting for and whether if you're a Bison fan, you say there should be no penalty there. If you're a Grizzlies fan, you say there should be. And if you're a neutral observer, you're probably thinking it could go either way. But because of that, Friesen just kind of hanging out neutral ice after losing his balance, looking for a penalty. Meanwhile, Bloomington skates in with all sorts of momentum, and that's all they needed. They had a guy, I think it was Shane Ott, and it was Ott because Matsushima was the one that threw a screen. Ott skated towards the right side, centered it to Sedov, and Nikita Sedov, who's been Bloomington's most productive defenseman this season, fired it stick side for his 9th goal of the year. Sedov ends the night with 1 goal and 2 assists, and the Bison come away with a 4-3 victory. As they show the highlights on Flow Sports of this afternoon's game. It's one of those, it's kind of a late afternoon, early evening contest. And really for Musatelli, he did a good job keeping the Grizzlies in it. He made some key saves in the final 2 periods to keep the Grizzlies in it. As there's the goal that was scored, the second goal for Bloomington. They gave it to Morrison, tipping the set-off shot. It was kind of tough. If Morrison did get a piece of it, it was just a slight piece. Lobster had a good look from the right wing. He was denied late in the second period by Callum Tongue. It was going to be a tough task for the Grizzlies in the third period. Not only down 3-0, but doing it against a Bloomington club that's one of the better defensive units in the league. But the Grizzlies were able to get on the board 6-01 in, as Timofeyev dropped it for Connors, and he fired it glove side past Callum Tongue. But obviously, the question happened a little bit before that. The officials talked it over quite a bit, wondering if Boilar threw a hand pass out to Timofeyev, but they said he didn't. And so the goal counted, and for Boilar, it's his first point as a Grizzly. And, you're thinking about that kind of building some momentum for the Grizzlies, and really the other thing that built momentum was the power play. Brad Morrison got a high sticking minor 9:24 in, and the Grizzlies were able to get some chances. There's the high stick on Genev, watching on Flow Sports. 8 seconds in the power play. Genev trying to fight a cutting Gratting, the 2 Penn State products, but instead it kicked off of Dadema's skate and into the back of the net. So Genev gets credited with this 15th goal of the year. It's his 2nd power play goal of the season, as he has 17 power play points on the year. And then Kyle Jackson held up Luke Manning. That gave the Grizzlies another power play, with it being a 3-2 game. Genev patient, got the puck towards the right side, and puck just kind of trickled towards Gratton. It looked like it might have kicked off of Callum Tongue, who was standing straight up. And then it kicked off of Tongue, and then Gratton got the rebound off of Tongue and tied it up 11-10 into the third period. And what a moment it was here at Maverick Center. The Never Say Die Grizzlies come back with a third period barrage, 3 goals. They've now scored 16 third period goals in their last 6 games. Actually make it the last 7 games. 16 third period goals in 7 games here in February. And so then we went to overtime, and it's one of those, I think we're going to be talking about it all week. As Bloomington won the draw, sent off skate around his net. Friesen, I think it's one of those you can look at either way. Friesen kind of lost his balance a little bit, but how much contact there was, it's one of those you could probably call it either way. There wasn't a call there, and as a result, Bloomington was able to get into the offensive zone with plenty of momentum and had a 2-on-1, and Ott got it towards Setoff down the middle of the ice, and Setoff fired it past Musatelli. So the overtime struggles continue for the Grizzlies. They've had overtime now in 2 of their last 4 games. Obviously, 4-game homestand here, and the Grizzlies are now 1-6. That's the basic win-loss record in overtime, although it officially be like 1-0-6. The lone overtime victory for the Grizzlies this season came on December 31st in Wichita. Maxime Barbashev with the overtime game winner. But if you are the team that's trailing in the third period and you come back tied up, you kind of have that feeling of, hey, we got a standing point you probably shouldn't have had. But based on how tonight went, with that tying goal happening 11-10 into the third period, plenty of regulation time after that. That's one of those, just a tough one to take, because we're playing a good Bloomington club, and obviously Bloomington is in third place in the Central Division. They now have 54 standings points, 3 ahead of Indy for third in the Central. Toledo and Fort Wayne are the top 2 teams in that division. If you can come away with 2 out of 3 games in a series against them, especially with the Grizzlies struggling a little bit here on the Maverick Center ice, I think you'll take that any day of the week. But it just wasn't meant to be. Grizzlies had that barrage, 3 goals in just over 5 minutes, but Bloomington's a pretty good club, and they do a good job dictating the pace of the game. And they won the face-off in overtime, which is interesting considering the Grizzlies, really through regulation, dominated the face-off battle. Grizzlies in the third period won 13 face-offs to Bloomington's 10. Grizzlies tonight won 43 face-offs. Bloomington won 27. But it was the one overtime face-off win that Bloomington had. That led to the 20-second stretch worth of hockey where Bloomington got into the offensive zone, 2-on-1, and Ott was able to find Setoff down the middle of the ice, and that led to the Bloomington game-winning goal. It's just a tough one to take for the Grizzlies, especially as games are running out, as today was game 49 of 72. 3 stars of the game. Third star goes to Danny Genev of the Grizzlies. He had 1 goal and 1 assist. Obviously, he had the 2 power play points in the third period. He had 4 shots and was a -1. So Danny Genev is the number 3 star. Number 2 star is Tyler Gratton, who scored the game-tying goal. And the number 1 star is Nikita Setoff of Bloomington, who scored the game winner 20 seconds into overtime. Setoff did just about everything for Bloomington, as he had 1 goal and 2 shots. He was active defensively with the stick, and he played a pretty good series. Goaltending matchup, Callum Tung gets the victory in net. His record goes to 7-5-0-2. He saved 28 of 31, and Jacob Musatelli in his Grizzlies debut gets the loss. It's his first decision of the season, even though it's his 3rd game. His record goes to 0-0-1 on the season. Next broadcast of Grizzlies hockey will be on Friday night. The Grizzlies will be in Allen, Texas, and hopefully I'll find a spot that's got some internet connection, or maybe I can find a plane ticket and head out to the Lone Star State. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:50, and face-off will be at 5:50, and face-off will be at 6:10. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Grizzlies did get 3 out of 6 standings points in this series. Bloomington outscored Utah 10-9 in the 3-game set. I'm Tyson Whiting, and I'm just pursuing my dream, and that's to someday, in the very near future, find a way to get to the National Hockey League. You've been listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network. Good night, everybody.